For the NBA, San Antonio's Sports Center.
Breaking this afternoon, the New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau has been fired. Thibodeau led the Knicks to their first East Finals in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since 1990. Congratulations, you're fired. Cowboys OTAs continue, and some news today about Micah Parsons. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer expects him to be present at the mandatory minicamp next week.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You see, Minix, I got to remember that I can't add the commentary to the Sports Center. I'm supposed to be a sports journalist and not a commentator at that point in time.
You're such a rookie.
I guess. But all of those stats that Thibodeau did, and, well, you're fired, buddy. That's the way that it goes. We're not fired. It's Tuesday.
Well, yet.
We're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix. James Pledger is here as well, and we're happy that you are with us as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. You think about the commentary on Tibbs, and we've talked about should he be blamed, should he not. Playoffs for the of his 5 years there. They've gotten better. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. Not good enough. You're out. In so much debate, a lot of things to question about this guy, but to get as far as you did and then to get fired just seems if they don't win it all next year, what a mistake.
Well, absolutely, and depending on what kind of moves they make, if they make any at all. But, yeah, I mean, just with what I read, I knew he had been good in New York, but I had no idea it was that good. But watching the games, especially the series against Indiana, some of the things he was doing was just kind of weird. Now, was it because of his personnel, or was that just the way he is?
Yeah, I think both can be true, and the GM fires the coach to save his job. It kind of feels like they've got a lot of moves to make. You wonder now immediately, let's see, every retread that didn't get hired yet, so Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone, does Jay Wright. It's New York. It's a hell of a team, hell of a roster, with room to improve. It's New York. What an attractive job. I mean, I even heard on the show whoever was in for Rich right before us talking about Jeff Van Gundy. And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, let's go back to the 90s, the last time the Knicks had back-to-back 50-win seasons. Jeff Van Gundy? I mean, I can only imagine the available coaches interested in that job. And we talked about it with the Spurs job when it was open for 41 minutes, that, you know, what coach wouldn't want to come to San Antonio with Wemby and everything? I think you could, now granted, less than an hour after they announced Pop was stepping down, they announced that Mitch Johnson was the guy. So there was no coaching search, but all the names that we were talking about, all the potentials, they're going to line up because New York would probably be the second most attractive job this offseason behind San Antonio.
I would think so. And not to mention the fact you're in New York City, a lot of spotlight there. And if you can turn that team around and get them to a finals and a championship, you're going to be a hero for a long, long time. It'd be interesting to see and it'd be fun to watch who takes over there because a lot of agents are making phone calls to the Knicks as we speak.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one of the things is we were prepping for the show today and, you know, hours and hours and hours of hardcore show prep.
Always.
You know, we're in the office. We're talking about, you know, different things that we're going to do in the show. And in walks grumpy-ass Greg Shelton. Just coming by to say hi. No, that's not what Greg does.
He doesn't.
He walks right in the office, and actually at the time I think we were just listening to audio. You and I weren't actually talking.
Right.
We were listening to all the things that Brian Schottenheimer said today that we'll get into later in the show. And he said, you know, I went to Whataburger for lunch today. All right, Greg, where is this going?
Congratulations.
Because Greg does not normally tell us where he went to lunch. Normally you could just tell by the front of his shirt. But that's, you know, neither here nor there. And he said, I ordered on the app. And I pull into the Whataburger, and he does this so he could take Josie, the great dog, with him. Let Josie get a ride in the truck because it gives her something fun to do in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And so whatever slot that he pulls into, and I'm sure everybody has ordered on the app, and, the curbside pickup, you get there, you open your app, you put in what spot number you're in. He does that, and he's waiting. And he said some lady tapped on his window, and Greg rolled down his window. And she said, "Can you buy me a burger?" Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And Greg, as grumpy as he can be, said, "No, ma'am." And then this lady proceeded to cuss him out and tell him he was going to hell because he could afford it.
Well, she told him to have a blessed day because you're going to hell. That's what Shelton said. So, I mean, is that a surprise?
I mean, she didn't apparently knock on anybody else's window asking for a burger. She kept walking with her convenience store fountain soda that, Greg pointed out he knows is $3, and she probably didn't need the money for a burger and probably wasn't going to use it for a burger, but he had a wonderful lunch. But that then got on the discussion about fast food burgers. And this is where I want to go with this because, all kinds of things talked about today. Like Wendy's has a great burger. They have the worst fries.
They're awful.
Sonic, a good alternate, but it's never anybody's first choice, right?
Depends on what you want there, but not burgers. We're talking burgers.
Yeah,
okay.
just talking
Gotcha.
burgers.
All right.
The fast food burger world, because Greg was like, I just, I don't know if Whataburger's quite the same, but the fries are so good. What makes everybody keep going back? If I've had Whataburger already in a week, I try to go somewhere else, but generally I won't go get another burger. Sometimes it's Sonic, and I can get tater tots, because they have great tater tots at Sonic. In-N-Out's not far from the radio station, but
sucks.
I only prefer In-N-Out burger if I'm in California. There's something about it to me. If I'm in California, In-N-Out's great. Here, or if I have a weird craving for an In-N-Out burger. Rarely.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, all these places are in business because we have weird cravings.
I suppose.
McDonald's, right? Again, you say it, but there's always a line.
True.
Always a line. If I, and again, I'm thinking about where we are at the radio station wise, fast food lunch, you're getting it to go, eat at work, right? If I'm by the McDonald's here, if Panda Express has a long line, I might end up at McDonald's. But it wasn't my first choice, right? But who has the best burger and fry combo not named Whataburger?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. Burger Boy's pretty good.
Burger Boy, I believe, is opening on Walsham, so that could be in the rotation soon.
Well, sometimes I'll stop at the one at 281 in Bitters on my way to work.
Yeah.
Pick up a burger there or eat it there, whatever. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Is Burger Boy jumping into the classification as fast food burger? And I say that because Burger Boy is great and it's legendary. And I love Burger Boy, but it used to be if you're in an area where there was one, you would go. But the way they've expanded, are they now kind of falling into that realm? You see what I mean?
Sure.
Like I don't look at say Longhorn Cafe. That's not a fast food burger.
No,
that's not in this conversation. Chester's isn't in this conversation. Burger Boy is, in my mind, kind of in that realm. But as much as they're expanding, are they going to be in the fast food conversation?
Now, somebody said the Burger Boy just opened at Eisenhower in 35.
Is it Eisenhower or Walsham? I thought it was Walsham.
Well, this says Eisenhower, so I'm just saying. I don't know either way. But
saw on social it's coming soon.
Okay, well, so it's right down the street.
It's right down the street.
That's good news.
Yes.
I tell you, if you haven't had the Sonic Jalapeno Burger, you're missing out.
Well, I probably am not going to have the Sonic Jalapeno burger.
It's delicious. A double meat with cheese and jalapenos all over that thing, and it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a go-to, but I don't have it that often. Yeah, I'm still a Whataburger guy. I still like Whataburger. I'm okay with it. Now, Greg's problem was he said those Yankees took it over, and they've changed it.
See, and that's it. I've heard other people say that it's different. I haven't noticed anything different about Whataburger except one location near the house that screws up the order every time, and I don't go to that one.
Yeah, only you, though.
Well, again, I don't go to that one because they have screwed up the order so many damn times. I won't give that particular location another chance, but Whataburger still gets plenty of my money. Today it was Schlotsky's. They got my money.
How about that? They got my money, too. Little Schlotsky sandwich. Did you have a Schlotsky's pledge? Anybody call you to see if you wanted a Schlotsky's? Nobody did. Damn it. I forgot.
No, you didn't forget.
I'm bringing pledge of Schlotsky's. Come on.
But it's a good question. You can comment on our YouTube page at San Antonio Sports Star. Search that on YouTube. Tweet at Joe Reinagle 210 at Jason Minix. Best burger fry combo.
Now, see, AD says Pete Terry's. I'm not a fan of Pete Terry's. I'm not. Do they advertise with us?
No, and it doesn't matter, right? And they won't now. But in reality, Pete Terry's is an interesting spot. I like their burgers. I'm not a fan of their fries. But their burgers are inconsistent.
See, and like Freddy's. You ever go to Freddy's?
Yeah, I like Freddy's.
I don't because they got those little skinny fries. I hate those things. I go get a can of shoestring potatoes.
Well, again, though, Freddy's, it's different. But you kind of have to be in the mood for that. You know what you're getting when you go in there. See, I would think you would like a Freddy's because you can get a steak burger and a chili dog at the same time, and the hell with your fries.
Chili dogs are good.
Yes.
I like those. Yeah. I just don't like the skinny fries. That kind of ruins everything. It ruins it.
Ruins it, huh?
It does. It ruins everything. It's just little skinny fries.
You don't like skinny fries?
No, I don't like skinny anything. I mean, seriously, it is true.
That's not true.
Libby Dunn?
Yeah.
She's skinny, but flexible.
Well, so are those fries.
No, those fries break.
No, they're bendable.
They're like...
Yeah. Goals.
Hey, man. Hey, I saw those splits yesterday. That's flexible, baby.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe Reinagle.
You know, it's always good to talk burgers, whatever, fast food stuff. And have we come to a conclusion? We haven't.
No. Well, it's personal preference is what it comes down to.
I suppose.
But bottom line is, Greg Shelton says, if somebody taps on your window looking for a burger, tell them no.
Well, I guess. I mean, you got to make up your own mind when that happens. But my problem is you never know these days. You know, that might be a front for a couple of dudes that are going to roll you in the back.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're targeting this woman targeted Greg Shelton.
And only Greg Shelton.
I mean, how disappointed if he would have reached in to go give her $5 to go buy a burger and she snatches the wallet and realized there was only $5 in there, right? I mean, let's be honest. She would have been so disappointed, you know, to go through his wallet and find his Blockbuster card that, you know, is still in there and his Sam's Club card and a gas station card, and that's it.
Well, that's probably why he said no. He spent all the money he had on his burger. And he went,
no, you order through the app. You don't even, I mean, it's connected. You don't even have to have money now.
Well, he could have done that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said on my Whataburger app. I just got something in my eye, dude.
Uh-huh.
On my Whataburger app, I can order just about anything I want.
Uh-huh. You all right?
I don't know.
Do we need to take a break?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on over there?
I was
don't cry. I mean, the thought of Livy Dunn doing splits has made your eyes well up.
Yeah, and a lot of other things, too. Well up. He shoots. He scores. Boom. When we come back, Rick Bucher. Dude, that was like
It's hard. Yeah, it's definitely hard.
Rick Bucher has insinuated something about LeBron James that apparently is common knowledge.
Wow.
And I think, well, according to Rick Bucher, he's a reputable guy. We'll tell you what he said about LeBron, or he didn't say it.
It's what he didn't say.
He suggested it, and you can come to your own conclusion. We'll talk about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Missions fans, get ready for AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium, presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Enjoy $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. Tonight, first pitch at 7:05 p.m. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at samissions.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I was just looking at our picture here with Mickey yesterday. Pretty good shot. It's like we called each other and matched clothes. You notice that?
You know, my wife brought that up.
I mean, if you're watching on, I don't know, you can see it on our socials if you want to, but yeah, we all matched. Like my shorts match Mickey's jacket. Your shirt matches.
My wife said, "Did you guys know Mickey was coming to the studio?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
Great minds think alike.
She said, and you coordinated? No. You know better than that.
Some might say. We did.
Hey, I did something today that I wish there would be some way to trigger a stop. But I just got another text. Early voting ends today. You know, I've had 4 of those text messages today. One was a pretty good reminder because I actually went and voted earlier
Good
today.
For you.
Yeah,
Good for
so
you.
I have. Why can't I stop these damn things now?
That would be a button. I've already voted. Bam.
Yes.
But people would push that thing, and if they hadn't voted.
Well, look, I know that in the world of targeted display advertising, geofences, and, all things digital marketing. You go into a place and they know you're there and they can serve you an ad. Why can't they know that I went into a polling spot, went up to a machine, and cast a ballot and stop all these annoying text messages and phone calls?
That we'd lose our content that we're having right now, and that'd be a problem.
I'd be fine with that.
You'd be all right with it?
I'd be fine with that.
Well, I'm glad you voted. Good for you. I can't vote in the San Antonio city election.
Went over there by the
which makes no sense to me because everything
you don't live in San Antonio.
I know, but everything I do is in San Antonio.
Well, I mean,
so
you're the one that chose to live where you do, sir.
Well, you should still be able to vote in the city election.
You got your own city. You get a special sticker on your card. It says "Get out of jail free."
Apparently, that's what that says. I haven't tested that yet, but we will see. I also saw this that just popped. Buc-ee's has filed a lawsuit.
What?
Against a San Antonio resident.
Oh.
For apparently trying to copy their Buc-ee logo. That'll be a
wonder
nice
who
fight.
that is.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Hey, would you give us a call at 656-3776? That'd be nice.
You want your beaver logo? Yeah. Buc-ee's wants their beaver back.
They do. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, right? In this case, they do. Oh, my goodness. I only bring this story up, Minix, because I think it's extremely unfair. And my feelings about LeBron James are not exactly stellar. I mean, he's a great player. I have a lot of respect for him, but there's a lot of things that I'm not really fond of. But Rick Bucher, who has been an NBA reporter, columnist, whatever, analyst for a long, long time, he's claiming that LeBron James is somehow using performance-enhancing drugs. And this had been a topic of conversation throughout from here and there, but this is kind of restarting the whole thing. And he's got a quote. He was on a show yesterday called the Dreamers Pro Show. I never heard of it, and I've never heard of the host, Charles Tambanzi. But he says, he quotes Bucher as saying, quote, "I appreciate LeBron for what he's done. I just don't make the assumption that everybody wants to be him. And there's also the nagging question about exactly how he's maintained such extraordinary fitness at such a ripe age." So he's insinuating that he's using performance-enhancing drugs. And apparently that rumor's been out there for a long time.
Well, I mean, and it has, and people have wondered, questioned, but there's never been any proof. And in this article, they quote Rick Bucher as suggesting others behind the scenes, other players and team executive types have wondered if he's getting a boost. But the reality is there's never been any proof that he has done something. And we know he spends an extraordinary amount of money and has crazy discipline. Hell, we saw that the other day when Luka was on the podcast that LeBron does with Steve Nash and was like, yeah, man, I got here and I see how this guy works out. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
And again, is Luka going to put in the same kind of work that LeBron is? Because it won't be long before that's Luka's Lakers and LeBron will retire. But he is playing at an incredible age, at an incredible level at his age. So everybody else in their 40s says, well, that's impossible. He must be doing something that he's getting away with. But could you imagine at this point if LeBron were to fail some sort of test and there was some sort of a legit PED controversy? Now, it's different than, say, a Barry Bonds or a Roger Clemens kind of, I mean, but we know what PED use did for their reputations. At this point, LeBron, there are some that will call him the GOAT. Others, like me, will always have Michael Jordan at the top of the list, and that's just going to be a great debate forever, right? But you never heard this kind of stuff when it came to, say, a Kobe Bryant, who we all knew had the incredible work ethic that he had. And LeBron has that same kind of work ethic, but there's always people that want to tear LeBron down for that work ethic, and they never really did with Kobe, and I don't understand why, other than hate for LeBron James.
Well, the age difference, I think, is the difference here. You're talking about LeBron's 41 years old, and he's still playing, quite frankly, like he's a hell of a lot younger than that. And we all wonder. We've said that before. How in the world is that guy still doing that? How is he doing? Now, I'm not insinuating that he's doing anything. In fact, I think this article, even to print this, and even for Rick Bucher to say this, is unfair to LeBron James. Unless you've got proof that he's doing it, and just to throw that out there on a radio show from a guy that is reputable. Rick Bucher is a reputable NBA guy. Just to throw that out there, to me, is just completely unfair without any proof.
And again, he doesn't actually ever say PEDs or he just said, I'm not saying it, but we all know what I'm talking about kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But if you've had other people that have said that to you, say it. Granted, off the record and quote-unquote sources or, however you want to couch it. But I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. And I just look at LeBron James, as long as he has been doing it with no kind of proof other than we know what he does to take care of his body, kind of Tom Brady-like. We know what his diet is like because he talks about it, how he sleeps. I got no issue or really even suspect anything with LeBron along these lines, and fairly irresponsible of Rick Bucher to bring that up or the article to then go and quote it.
I totally agree with you, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. And we're not talking about it anymore, but I just thought, man, this is really unfair. And to just go on a radio show, and then not only that, well, obviously everybody starts printing this after they hear the radio show. So I think it's extremely unfair, and I wish he wouldn't have done that because I have a great deal of respect for Rick Bucher, and I think he's very good at what he does.
And quite frankly, it's something that LeBron James has dealt with before.
Yeah.
I mean, and for LeBron, I mean, his team, it's just kind of one of those, dude, give him credit for taking care of his body the way he does. I mean, like him, don't like him, however you rank him on the overall GOAT scale is fine. What the guy has done and what he continues to do is pretty damn incredible.
It is incredible, and everybody expects him to come back and do it again next year. And so, hey, he play as long as he wants to. I just don't want to see LeBron turn into Tiger Woods. And I say that with all due respect to Tiger Woods. I don't want to see LeBron, limping around the court and not being LeBron.
I hear that. I don't know that LeBron's ego would allow him, when he starts to see a massive decline in his game, to continue to be out there. And with Tiger, all the injuries, the car accident, everything that he's gone through, you give him credit, but there's no way that, like, if LeBron was in a car accident like Tiger Woods was in and had those kind of injuries, his career would be over.
Yeah.
You can't come back and play in the NBA like that. You can kind of get back out on the golf course, but I just don't see LeBron, and we've seen him change his game, but when it starts to decline, I think he's out. He doesn't want to have those kind of down seasons, and that's why I say the way he is playing right now, there's no reason to think he's done in a year or 2 years because you haven't seen a decline in his game.
But I want to see what the Lakers do. They obviously need some help with that team. Besides, adding Luka obviously was good. What are they going to do in the future, and what kind of a championship run are they going to have, or are they going to be capable of having? And speaking of championship runs, Jason, we were talking about this yesterday, and everybody's got their own opinion on how the Spurs should rebuild. Should you completely, just wait it out and build from within, draft picks and all that stuff, or do you go out and do you get some players? The Indiana Pacers are a good example of what I'd like to see the Spurs do. And I say that because they used both the draft and they went out and made trades. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton, they get in trade. Pascal Siakam, trade. Aaron Nemhard, or Aaron Nemar, I believe, Neesmith, excuse me. Yes, he is the trade, right? So, but you draft guys as well. And so I just think people are short-sighted when they say, look, we can't skip steps and we got to do this and do it this way. I just think it's very short-sighted. You go out and you get players, and they don't have to be Giannis or KD.
I agree with you, but I think the Spurs are on the Pacers path, the Oklahoma City path, and well past the rebuild stage. The move for De'Aaron Fox is a big sign of that. They have drafted. They've now made a trade. They're going to continue to make trades. Some dude tweeted us last night, and my computer is completely frozen and says non-responsive, so I can't do anything. Won't even let me Control-Alt-Delete to restart right now. Anyway, so I can't go look up the tweet, but, Halliburton was drafted one after Devin Vassell, and the tweet was, what if? Well, all right, cool. You know what that means? Tyrese Halliburton wouldn't be in the NBA Finals this year, right? It's pretty simple, right? But because Halliburton isn't the sole reason why the Pacers are there, it's the way they got him, the way they were able to get Pascal Siakam, and then the other pieces around them.
Obi Toppin
is one. Miles Turner has turned into a solid 3-and-D guy, but man, it's taken him a long time to turn into the last 3 or 4 years. But I mean, early on, he wasn't that guy. So when you look at what the Pacers have done, and they're in the finals, so we can use them as an example, and I think Oklahoma City very similar with what the Spurs have available, along with the moves they've already made. That's the path that they're following. It's pretty clear their blueprint isn't, let's go get every big-name superstar out there. It's who are the right pieces for our superstar, Wemby, to build around, and they've done that.
Well, they've started doing it with Fox. I'm not sure who else is there. I mean, Stephon Castle obviously had a great rookie season. Hopefully he can follow that up and become a big star, and I'm very hopeful about that. But I still think this team needs some pieces. I just don't see Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan as those guys that you can ride with for a long period of time. I think there has to be some pieces. They got to bring some in from the outside. And I heard Rob Thompson today, and I love the guy, and he's our basketball expert. But, I like to yell at the radio when I listen to those guys sometimes.
Yep.
Saying, Oklahoma City's going to be the big dog, so the Spurs should just let it go for a couple of years and just wait till those guys flame out. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you sit back and just say, well, the Oklahoma City's the king of the hill, and we're not going to do anything, and just sit back and let them flame out?
No. Now, do I look at them as the moves I'm making is to be able to knock those guys off? Yes. Do I? Well, let's see how long their run is going to last, and then we'll get busy when we think they're kind of done. No, I wouldn't do that at all.
I think it's time to be aggressive. Spurs are in a great position right now, and they're never going to be in a better position than they are right now. And it's time to make some moves and make this team playoff ready and championship ready, quite frankly. And I think we're seeing that with the De'Aaron Fox thing, and hopefully it's going to be a busy couple of weeks coming up. That is the key. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks out at the Star in Frisco. Already is today. Another round of voluntary OTAs for the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons is not there, but Brian Schottenheimer spoke, and he gives us an update on what he thinks about the future of one Micah Parsons. And we'll tell you what he said. You'll hear from him himself, as a matter of fact, when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, I want to tell you about Stevens Roofing. Stevens Roofing is a great local company, family-owned company, and they're simply the best in the business. I don't think there's any question about it. And right now, we've had a lot of rain, more rain in the forecast perhaps, but even more than that, you're going to have the summer heat that we have here in San Antonio. And that sun beating down on your roof day after day after day, well, it can take its own toll on your roof. So what I would suggest is that you call the fine folks at Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. Let them send a crew out to your house. They will inspect your house free of charge with no obligation, and they'll let you know what condition your roof is in. If they think you need a new roof, they'll let you know that. If they think there's some minor repairs that need to be had, they'll let you know that as well. Or they may just let you know that your roof is in great shape and have a nice day. Either way, it's going to give you the peace of mind that you want, that you deserve as we go into these hot summer months. You want to keep that roof in top shape. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar, 210-785-0994. You can also visit them online at stevensroofing.net. Either way, we'll get you scheduled for that free inspection. Stevens Roofing and Solar is going to keep your roof in top shape so you don't get caught off guard. Give them a call, 210-785-0994.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock is ticking. We'll get a finals game eventually. How can the Pacers win?
What do you mean eventually? We've got a finals game tonight. Stanley Cup action underway, baby. Oilers, Panthers, we're going to ram it down your throat. Morning Huddle, party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere. From dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke, an asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life. Like frames, because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Oh, happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your Tuesday is going extremely well. I know mine is. It's a great Tuesday. This is the Blitz here on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix to my right. And then, that wild music, courtesy of one James Pledger.
You know, it works. Interesting day up in Dallas, Frisco, to be exact. OTAs, the voluntary kind of OTAs. Now, Coach Schottenheimer met with the media earlier today, and there was no sighting of a Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, though, did show up about 20 minutes ago, give or take, 20, 30 minutes ago. Syed Youssef from The Athletic tweeted a photo and said Micah just arrived post-practice. He joined his teammates in the locker room. Now, so he wasn't there for their practice parts, which makes sense. Who knows if he's going to any of the meetings or doing any of that. But it is interesting because Shotty said earlier today that when you think about being present and being a leader, there's a lot of ways you can define that.
Yeah, I mean, again, being present doesn't necessarily mean being here all the time, doesn't mean necessarily having to practice. It means being present, being around the guys. I mean, we all don't see the things that some of these guys do away from here. There's a lot of work being done away from here, whether it's with other players in the NFL, our guys, things like that. And, again, you know, the thing that I know about Micah is Micah wants to be here. He's excited about what we're building. He's been a big proponent of that, and you can lead a lot of different ways, and this is a business, and they're working through the business part of this deal. But again, everything I've asked him to do, everything that I've required, no different than everybody that's here, he's been great with, and so that gets me excited, and I'm a big fan of Micah.
That, I'm sure this got everybody excited. Now, according to a tweet from Clarence Hill Jr., Micah showed up today for team pictures. So they're taking team pictures today. He said he avoided the media with a smile. Today was media day with players in uniform.
Well, and again, if that's a reason that he showed up, but I find it interesting, Shotty talked about you don't necessarily have to be here to be a leader and be present, you know. And if he went to the locker room, I guess it's picture day. Micah wants to make sure he's a part of that. You know, and it's voluntary. He did show up. That's a good sign. Take that however you want. He doesn't have to. Next week is the mandatory mini camps. And Shotty was asked if he had assurances that Micah would show up.
I would assume. Mike and I talked a couple of days ago. Again, he's doing a little bit of traveling. But again, everything that he and I have talked about, I expect that he will be here. And like I said, I say it each and every week. Mike and I have had great communication. Everything I've asked him to do and vice versa, he's followed through on. So I would expect to see him.
I would expect to see him too.
Well,
but it doesn't mean he's going to practice, though.
Yeah, I might see him. I won't see him do any damn work, but, you know, he'll be in the building. He's going to show up for picture day. You know, it's interesting because clearly Schottenheimer had no idea, or coach speak in defending his guy. Now, he said last week he ran into Micah at the airport. You know, today it made it say he's not here, he's doing some traveling. All right, well, what country is Micah in? I mean, he's in your same county, Coach. He showed up. Now, I don't know. I'm guessing Schottenheimer did not expect to see him today. Otherwise, his answer might have been a little bit different. You know, yeah, he's going to be here later. It's picture day. And listening to Shotty, and we don't know Shotty all that well to this point, but have an idea. If he knew Micah was going to show up today, he probably would have suggested and said those answers a little bit differently, especially about being present. You don't have to go through the practice to be a leader on this team. We've talked about that. But is he participating in the meetings? Is he hanging out with the guys in the locker room? All those different things that, you know, Shotty has kind of answered up to this point. And the bottom line, it's the business side of football, and every team deals with this every year. Now, Stephen Jones said today that nothing new when it comes to Micah in his contract. Quote, no different than anything else. I'll let you know when it happens, is a quote that John Machota from The Athletic tweeted out when asked about any new info on Micah's contract. Disappointed he's not at OTAs? Part of the business. All teams go through it. And that's true, and the Cowboys seem to go through it every year.
Every single year. Third year in a row, they're having to do this with one of their star players. I'm happy he's there. If the team pictures are the reason, he takes the picture and leaves and doesn't continue for the rest of the week with the OTAs, that's okay. It will be interesting to see if he's there next week, and if he is there, what, if anything, will he do? That's the thing you're going to have to watch for, because I figure if that's the case, that's going to give us a precursor of what's going to happen if nothing is done between this mandatory minicamp and training camp. Are we getting close? Does Micah feel comfortable with it, or does he not? If he's sitting there in street clothes and just there because it's mandatory, we're still far apart.
Well, but that's what I fully expect. Until he signs his name on a piece of paper that says he's the highest paid defensive player, then I don't expect him to do anything. And if I were advising him, I wouldn't let him do anything. You know, it wasn't that long ago that old Sean Lee ripped up a knee this time of year. I would not let him step on the field. Now, Dak has proven you can have a serious injury and still get paid, but I would not risk it if I'm Micah. That is his only leverage. Now, Jerry's got leverage too. I can tag
Absolutely.
you. I can tag you twice. Jerry also, how many times have you heard him say deadlines make deals? Training camp seems to be kind of the deadline, does it not?
Or the middle of training camp.
But it just feels like I'd be shocked if they got a deal done between now and next week when the mandatory minicamp starts. It would be shocked if anything was done before they got to Oxnard, California. And that, to me, is part of Jerry's MO. If, we're over at that Marriott River Ridge complex, and Jerry's got his little office set up and calls in Micah, they can get Mulligetta on the phone, but that's how Jerry likes to do business, face-to-face with the player, no agent there. Training camp sets up nicely for that.
Yeah, well, it does. Yeah, as long as the player's there, which is, you never know. By the way, the contract could get more expensive. There's a report out today that the Pittsburgh Steelers are close to reaching a deal with T.J. Watt. So that could, I don't know what they're thinking. Is TJ going to be the highest paid guy for a few minutes, or is he not? I don't know, but it could certainly make Micah Parsons' deal a little more expensive than it would be right now.
And while Micah has said he doesn't have to be, could Micah be holding this up? Let's give Jerry Jones a little bit of a benefit of the doubt here, because we've heard him say, especially on Dak's deal, because he brings it up all the time, it takes two. Could there be David Mulligetta saying, Micah, there's no rush. Let TJ get his.
Yeah.
Let's because it's all about ego. Let's play the full season with you as the highest paid guy. You don't want to be the highest paid guy for 10 minutes and then have TJ come in and beat you, right? And, Pittsburgh hadn't signed a quarterback yet, so they've got more money, right? I mean, you just wonder at this point how much of this is actually on Parsons and Mulligetta as opposed to Jerry and Steven, who will take all the blame and all the criticism for not getting a deal done yet. But Micah has to be willing to sign it at this point.
He does, and I'm sure saw the same reports we saw. And he talks to people, and if TJ Watt's about to get a deal, then why wouldn't you wait? I think it only makes sense to wait and see what he gets, see what it is. And I'm sure Mulligetta would like to do that, to see whatever TJ Watt's agent comes up with and whatever kind of deal they made. So there is no there's no urgency at this point in time. But look, if you're Micah Parsons, you don't want to hold out a training camp. If you're Jerry Jones, you don't want Micah holding out a training camp. I mean, you just don't. And because it causes all kinds of issues, that's all everybody's going to be talking about. You'd like to get this deal done, I would think. And so we'll see. So if TJ gets signed today or in the coming days, we'll see where that is and see if that pushes this process along.
Well, and again, next week it'll be interesting because those are mandatory. Today, although attendance looks good, George Pickens is there. He's got another new number. He's now in 3. Last minute OTAs, he was in 13. Didn't like that. Put on 3. Cool. Run with it. But one of the things that Shoddy said today is the way they run practices. And it's kind of fascinating because it's a new coach, obviously. With this old school, everybody wants to compare him to his dad, old Marty Ball. But it's 2025. Things are different than when Marty was coaching.
Well, it's actually funny that you asked me that question and I'll answer, and the reason I smile is the way we practice and the way that I act at practice. My father is looking down from heaven going, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you practice. But my father also coached a long time ago. And the type of athletes and type of young men that we're dealing with has changed. I believe that it's the coach's responsibility first and foremost to create a great practice environment. What do I mean by that? If we don't have energy and we're not into it and we're not running around and we're not talking, then the players aren't going to be able to do that because they're going to follow our lead. And when we show them that we're going to let our personality shine and we're going to be who we are and be joyful out of practice, then they're going to do that. And I think what I would say reminded me of that and what I really fell for that was my years in Seattle. I think I've talked to you guys a little bit about Pete. I mean, I remember Pete being, sorry Pete, if I'm wrong, 72 or 1 at the time, and him running around the practice field with more energy than me, who was 40-something at the time. I'm like, damn, I got to get in shape. But I believe it. Like I watched some incredible athletes that late in the season went out to practice, and maybe they didn't really feel like practicing, but when the coaches bring the juice and the energy and the vibe, then they're going to follow suit, and that's really impacted me at a high level.
You know, it's going to be – I can't wait to watch him on the field. I remember us all being very complimentary of Dan Quinn because the way Dan Quinn got in with the defensive guys and was in there and down in the stance and doing all of that stuff, and I think that gave that defensive unit a lot of energy. So if this is what Schottenheimer's doing, it's going to be interesting to watch and see how the players respond, especially after a couple of weeks of training camp.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, we talk about Dan Quinn, and Schotty was that way as a non-play calling OC. You would see him out there with that kind of energy, but it's going to be very different to watch a Cowboys practice with the head coach doing that because, you know, since I've been doing this outside of, you know, Jimmy Johnson up at St. Edwards, I mean, Campo didn't run around crazy. Garrett didn't run around crazy.
He walked a lot.
He walked a lot, and he cussed a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, his personality is a lot different. You know, Wade Phillips didn't run around a lot, and Mike McCarthy didn't run around a lot. It'd be interesting to see the head coach with his visor running around the football field doing things like that.
It will be, and I look forward to seeing it because, again, we can sit here and talk about it, and we have. Brian Schottenheimer has won May.
Yeah.
And now the first part of it, he's won. He said all the right things. It looks like he's putting in a culture that's a culture of not only football but off the field as well. And I just think all of these things, he's won. And so I just want to see how that translates when it comes to September. And I figure the first part of the challenge is getting the guys to buy into your philosophy, and it appears at this point in time that they have.
It's fun to go to work. And granted, it's now early June. You said it, he won May, but will he win in October? More importantly, will he win in January? And the ultimate goal is Super Bowl. And one of the things he said today, because there's so much Super Bowl drought talk when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, that, he says, is not a burden.
I don't think so. Not when the head coach sits up here and talks about the ultimate goal is to win a world championship. You know, I think it's to be celebrated. You know, you've got an incredible organization, incredible team, but the history speaks to what we're about. And so I think some people might view it as being burdensome. I don't. I think it's awesome. I think the more those guys are around, the more we see their Super Bowl rings, you know, which they wear very proudly. I think that's great for our guys because that's why we do it, you know, and we don't hide from that. And again, you know, I talk a lot about that. Like, it doesn't mean there's not a process, right? There's a process that goes into winning a world championship. You know, it just doesn't. You know, you talk about the steps to help you get there, and we do that quite a bit. You know, you have to win games at home. You have to win games you're supposed to win. You have to get into the playoffs and all those things. But I think it's meaningless to set an arbitrary goal about, hey, we want to win 10 games or we want to do this. You know, we want to win a Super Bowl, and we don't hide from that.
I totally agree, and I tell you, that's the best statement I've heard. It's exactly right, because every team right now in the National Football League, no matter what you think of them, is saying the same thing. we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. That's the goal, is to win a Super Bowl. Because if it's not your goal, you need to find another business.
But so many don't like to talk about it.
Well, they're ridiculous. They should talk about it. And that was just a little Schottenheimer went up another notch on the respect belt right there.
This drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's there, Stephen. The idea, though, when you look at that, and they had a bunch of former players in. A lot of those guys have rings, and I mean, it's encouraging. This is, can you imagine if you're Shoddy, first-year head coach, Dak, but you name the player on that team when they win another one? My goodness, the hero status they will have amongst Cowboy fans to finally be the ones to break through the quote-unquote drought.
I love the positivity minutes when they win another one, not if.
Look, ask AI. They're coming. AI says so. AI knows. ChatGPT is going to tell us.
Absolutely. Somebody on our YouTube page, and I haven't checked this, so I'm going to take your word for it, says that BetMGM still has the Cowboys win total at 7.5, which seems a little low to me. But we will see. We will see. Minix, you just sit down sometimes and you're sitting there, you're off, maybe having a cold beer, just kind of daydreaming out into the wilderness or looking at your fence or whatever it is you do when you sit in your backyard. Did you ever wonder what the secret to a great boob job is?
No.
Never?
No.
Well, I haven't either.
Oh, liar.
But Kylie Jenner is going to explain the perfect boob job. And she'll do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I don't know how you go from that to talking about an electrician, but if you need a spark in your life, Hill Electric is available for both residential and commercial needs. I know I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my home through the years. They've added extra outlets in the garage, a spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. Whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. Whether you need additional outlets or USB ports, a fuse that's always blowing that it needs to be fixed, a flickering light, whatever it is, call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or go to their website, hill-electric.com.
You're riding with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Missions fans, get ready for AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium, presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Enjoy $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. Tonight, first pitch at 7:05 p.m. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at samissions.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is the breaking news this afternoon. The New York Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau led the Knicks to the East Finals for the first time in 25 years. UTSA Roadrunners now know everything they need to know about their next series. Will be a best-of-3 series in the Super Regional. They'll head to Jackie Robinson Stadium in Los Angeles, face off against UCLA. First game is Saturday night at 6. Game 2 will be Sunday at 2.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, it's not Monday. It's Tuesday. That's a good thing. It means we're moving along in the week here. On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Joe Reinagel. That's Jason Minix. James Pledger is producing this fine show, and what a great day. A little rain this morning, but it's nice outside right now, and, well, it's June.
It's June.
It's hot, which is okay.
The air conditioner works.
It does. Thank goodness for that,
Stay
right?
inside.
Yeah.
Get it all done.
Why not? I like being outside when it's hot. Does the hot bother you?
I'm not going to say no, but I'd rather be hot than cold.
Much.
Like if I'm going to play golf, I'd much rather need a cold towel than a jacket.
I can't play golf when it's cold. Dude, I can't do it. There's too much stuff on. It kind of restricts you. You don't want to do that. I like it. It's summertime in San Antonio. I love it. It's fantastic, and we're all fired up today, man. Cowboys are back in OTAs. We got NBA Finals about to kick off here in a couple of days. And
Stanley Cup Finals tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
It's not over yet?
It hasn't even started yet.
Oh.
Game 1 is tomorrow.
Wow. Who's in that? Edmonton and Florida.
There you go.
How about that?
Not the Dallas Stars.
So, they kind of pooped the bed, didn't they?
They did.
So will they start in Florida or in Canada?
I don't know. I it's weird. This build up to it. Stars are out. I mean, I'll watch it tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out. It's like last night, trying to figure out what to watch. I watched college baseball again last night.
Oh wow, nice.
What are we gonna? It's almost that point where we got to start finding new shows to watch.
Yeah, you
because
have to.
Everything that I've been watching, I'm kind of done with. I've finished out the seasons.
Well. Yeah, I haven't really started anything else, so I'm just going to find a good movie tonight or something to watch. Something like that. I'll get the magic box. You got lots of choices. I'll find some movie I haven't seen in a long time or that I haven't seen at all, and we'll go from there.
There's one thing you could do as we jump into the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys. 2 opinions. Never enough time.
There's a guy in California. He is 67, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
Started to have a wandering eye. So instead of cheating on his wife, he bought a sex doll, and that has improved his marriage. He says.
I suppose. So
if you're bored, here's an idea for you.
67. Huh? And he's just now getting a wandering eye?
Just now.
Wow. I wish that would have happened to me earlier. Waited till I was 67.
Oh.
Yeah. I find this fascinating. There's a picture of this guy. Now, I don't know if this is this guy or not, but he's got one of those blow-up dolls. My question is, if you're sleeping with a doll, isn't that the same thing as cheating on your wife?
No.
It's not?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Apparently, she's okay with that. She's not jealous of the doll. Larry, a 67-year-old water maintenance manager from California, known in the sex doll community as Obi-Wan.
There's a sex doll community.
Wow.
Wow.
Does that surprise you?
Well, no, I guess it doesn't, now that I think about it.
Says he bought his first blow-up sex doll when his eyes started to wander.
Now, this guy's got a collection, according to this article.
Well, I mean, who wants just one?
It's enhanced his second marriage. So maybe in the first marriage, he didn't go with the doll. He went with the doll.
He's got $30,000 in sex dolls in his house. That's his collection. That's his collection. He said, I was out of town, started to get lonely out there. The eye started to wander, and I said, no, I don't want to cheat on my wife, so I'll use one of these.
I mean, are there stores that you just walk into and buy a doll?
Dude, there's the internet. I don't know if there's a store. That wouldn't surprise me, though.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, good for him. Whatever makes you happy. I mean, who am I to judge?
Oh, you judge.
Well, I kind of do. I judge the fact that he spent $30,000. Is one doll not good enough? I mean, it's the cleaning bill alone is kind of, I mean, my gosh. That's.
Do you send those to the dry cleaner? Or you just hose them off in the backyard?
Well, I mean.
Throw them in the shower.
Jeez. Just thinking about that sounds awful.
He said they provide short-term relief satisfaction that my wife either doesn't want to or can't.
Well, the one good thing about a doll is, maybe it's a one good thing, they can't talk. I mean.
Here's a shovel.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
You are.
I'm glad you crack yourself up.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, I guess, I mean, some of these stories out there, you know, this guy, Larry, harmless.
Larry harmless.
I mean, that's
a made-up name, Larry Harmless.
Oh, I said Larry is harmless.
Oh, he is harmless.
His name isn't Larry Harmless, although in this case, I figure he's more harmless than some other dude who broke into some lady's home and licked her toes while she slept.
Well, not only licked her toes, but was biting on them as well, apparently. And been stalking this woman for some time.
Also in California. Both of these feel like Florida stories, yet they're California.
Uh-huh. So he wanted to get in bed with her, according to the article, and she would have none of that. Kicked him out and called the police.
He broke into our house and woke her up by nibbling on her toes, and then tried to crawl into bed, and somehow she fought that off and called the cops.
Uh-huh.
This guy left, but like an idiot, came back. And then he got arrested. He's in the county jail. Charges of alleged burglary, stalking, sexual battery, and assault with intent to commit a felony. Bail is $325,000.
Well, look, this guy. He can have his foot fetish in prison now.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. Perfect boob jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about that?
No.
Well, I mean, when you look at them, it's wow, that's perfect.
I mean, I don't look at them and think, how did they get that? Like, she's a good surgeon or not a good surgeon?
Well, Kylie Jenner, who is shiny. I mean, she's a pretty girl, right? I mean, obviously very successful. Apparently somebody on TikTok asked her how she gets her boobs to sit the way that they sit. And, of course, Kylie just went in and started, talking about the lady that does her boob job. Now, here's the recipe for a perfect boob job, according to Kylie Jenner.
Here we go.
Now, I don't know what some of this means in all transparency.
I don't know what any of this means.
445 cc, moderate profile, half under the muscle, and silicone. recipe for a perfect boob job.
And a great surgeon.
According to Kylie's. Well, the surgeon's name is Dr. Fisher.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, and has done all the surgery on all the Kardashians and Jenners, apparently. Now, I don't know about the eldest Jenner. Somebody had to do that, too. But
again, I think it's more about the surgeon, also known as the artist there.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to some surgeon in Beverly Hills who's the plastic surgeon to the stars. I'm guessing that doc is pretty good.
And pretty rich,
yes.
I would imagine. Yeah.
You know, if you're going with the cheaper route, it can be kind of obvious.
Well, so ladies or guys, if you're going in for a boob job anytime soon, you want to write this down. 445 cc, moderate profile, half under the muscle and silicone. The perfect recipe for the perfect boob job, according to Kylie Jenner.
She would know.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because they do sit well.
I would imagine, though, there are probably ladies out there that are looking to get plastic surgery, looking at hers going, man, those look perfect. What did you do?
Sure.
That's great advice.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Ladies probably talk about that, right?
Sure.
I would think so. I don't know. So we got boobs, feet licking, and sex dolls. You're welcome, San Antonio.
Well, I mean, look, all those could have been conversations the other night at the Rockies-Marlins game down in Miami where 14 people showed up.
Dude, is that incredible?
I mean, literally, I think the announced attendance was around 5,000 people, and it didn't feel like that much.
It was the headline on the article I read today was more people were at the supermarket than at the Marlins-Rockies game. And it was in Florida, obviously, and the Rockies suck.
Oh, they got their 10th win?
Yeah. Well, they're bad, and they suck. But it really was pathetic. When you look at the pictures of the stadium, it was just awful. I mean, it really was bad, and I feel bad for them. A lot of people talking about – remember the Florida Marlins flirted with San Antonio for a while?
Yep, they did.
We'll take them back,
they did. Well, they got that new stadium that nobody goes to. You know, what's crazy is you see those photos, and you think, well, this can't be real. Yet the game is going on. We were at a baseball stadium Friday, Globe Life Field, and we got there at noon, gates at 5, and it kind of looked like, you know, at 3 o'clock when you just look out on the field, nobody's there yet, but the building's not open. That's what those pictures look like. And as soon as they opened the gates, fans were rushing in. It's amazing to see that at a major league level. The missions draw more. Hell, UTSA, if they had a stadium, could draw more.
Yes, they could. They could. Hopefully they'll get one. And we were talking about this yesterday, Jason, that ESPN says they plan to give inside the NBA hands-off treatment and let them go because of how things have worked out with the Pat McAfee experiment.
Which is good. If you're going to acquire that show, you've got to acquire that show and let it be. I saw Charles Barkley was on with Dan Patrick, and he brought up some things that I wasn't completely aware of or hadn't really thought through. But they're still going to do that show even on nights that they don't have a game. So he's like, this is dumb because, one, we don't have the rights to show highlights, so we're going to do a show called Inside the NBA and not talk basketball. He said they did a pilot that was dumb, and even Turner said, all right, this is dumb. Let's come up with another idea. But Charles isn't overly thrilled or didn't sound overly thrilled about some of the stuff they're going to be asked to do because they're not on ESPN and ABC every game, and they're going to be on doing their show while there could be a game on Amazon. And he was like, if you're a basketball fan, you're not watching us. You're going to be watching the game. But they can't show highlights because they don't have the rights. He's like, I don't know really what we're going to do, but the pilot we did was dumb as hell.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, right? It makes a lot of sense. We used to have to do that in TV.
Yeah.
Right? If the Spurs game was still going on, we could show 30 seconds of highlights. That was it.
That was it.
That's all we could do. So it's a problem. It is. These guys are entertaining, but even that's going to be a challenge for them.
Again, as much as we love that show, if, let's say, the Spurs are playing the Mavericks and that game is on Amazon, whatever time they're coming on Turner, because apparently they're still going to be on Turner, are you going to turn off the Spurs-Mavs game to go watch Inside the NBA with those guys? No.
No, of course not. And that's what Charles is concerned about.
Yeah.
So is that going to be a 5-night, 6-night a week?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know yet. Interesting. See, I don't even know what ESPN's going to do. I mean, how many games a week are they going to have?
It's interesting. And he's like, they want us to earn our money, so they want us to work. I just don't know what we're going to do.
Hey,
True.
Just go beat Charles. I think that'll be just fine.
But it's a show called Inside the NBA with no NBA highlights. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to have to talk about last night's games, right? Or something like that. Or that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'll still watch it, though, because of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I will. There's no doubt about it. It should be a lot of fun. Hey, we've been talking a lot of pro football. Cowboys, obviously, OTAs continuing on. The Texans OTAs are continuing on. We'll hear from the Texans here in a little bit in the show. But college football's in the news as well. And there was a college football power index that came out today and showed the best matchup and title odds and all of that stuff. And Longhorn fans, you're going to be very happy with where they have your beloved Texas Longhorns. We're going to talk about that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had,
How
one of them's
dare
dead.
you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
Just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas summer is no joke. With temperatures in the triple digits, your roof takes a beating. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. They're local, family-owned, and ready to help. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from a team that knows South Texas weather. Whether it's commercial or residential, a small repair, or a whole new roof, get peace of mind with Stevens Roofing. Call 210-785-0994 today. Stevens Roofing has you covered.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot, because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today.
Call 800-298-2007. That's 800-298-2007. 800-298-2007.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? You can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get chicken parmesan delivered. Sunshine? No. Some wine? Yes. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. See app for details.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
This is A.J. Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6 for the perfect ride to work on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You going to sing it?
I don't think I'm going to sing it, no. Nobody wants to hear that.
Can you sing it?
I could sing it.
Yeah?
Sure.
In the shower?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the car alone?
Car alone is another good place.
Yeah?
I like singing there.
Yeah.
It's always nice. That's Pantera, by the way. And they are going to be at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater on September the 2nd. All part of Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. And right now, it is your lucky day. You can win a pair of tickets to see Pantera live September 2nd at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. If you don't win your tickets today, you can always get them online at livenation.com. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Caller number 9. We'll win those tickets right now. Caller number 9 at 656-3776. 656-ESPN. Good luck to you. But again, if you don't win them, you can go to livenation.com and buy them there. We've got more tickets to give away coming up here in just a little bit. Daughtry tickets.
Yeah, Seether and Daughtry
playing
down in Houston. Going to be a good show. And Pantera doing it for the brothers, man. It's going to be a hell of a show at Germania. I know they're on tour right now as one of the openers, them and Suicidal Tendencies for Metallica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, and the Germania thing, this whole Live Nation $30 summer has been fantastic. Been a lot of great acts.
Well, and again, Seether and Daughtry and POD is also on that bill down at 713 Music Hall. That's going to be a hell of a show in November.
We're going to have to make our way up to 713 Music Hall.
You got to go check that place out?
Yeah. Well, I go to Houston from time to time.
Uh-huh.
Got a couple of daughters that live there.
Yeah, I could see you at a POD show.
You could?
No.
You just have to tell me what to wear.
Just what you got on, sir.
White belt and all?
Sure. I mean, absolutely. You know, Daughtry's been busy because they were just on tour here in San Antonio, and I saw them also in Phoenix on the Disturbed tour.
Oh, they were at that show?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Nothing More, Daughtry, and Disturbed.
Nothing More.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And our good friends from Kingdom Collapse. I saw them on Instagram singing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was was it a new song?
I don't know what you saw on Instagram, but
I don't think it was a new song.
They're always working on something.
I think I'd heard it before. I like those guys.
Oh, good stuff.
Absolutely. Hey, college football, we can always talk about that because, man, to be honest with you, it's not long. But ESPN put out today the College Football 2025 Power Index. Also talking about the best matchup and the title odds. And to nobody's surprise, as they list the championship odds, the Big Ten and the SEC will dominate because the top 6 are either Big Ten or SEC.
The top 2 are SEC. Number 1 in the rankings, a 22.2% chance of championship, 83.9% playoff chance. The Texas Longhorns.
The University of Texas.
Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, Penn State 5, Oregon 6, then Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, and Tennessee at 10. The Aggies at 11 with a 2.1% chance of a championship.
Well, interesting. And obviously, this is a projection. You never know how it's going to shake out. But what I find interesting, and the first thing I look for, and I don't know why, and I guess it's just the Bill Belichick thing, is I was looking for North Carolina.
Who?
Yeah, they're nowhere in the top 20 here.
And that doesn't surprise me. And there's so many things with the Bill Belichick North Carolina Tar Heels that we just don't know, right?
We just don't know.
Well, when was the last time North Carolina was in the national championship conversation?
Well, I don't know that they ever have been.
In football.
I know Mac Brown did a pretty decent job with them for a while.
Yeah, but, I mean.
Never national championship worthy, though.
And all the offseason talk is about Bill and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
They're running that like an NFL program. We're going to find out real quick about how his coaching is when they take the field and they're actually having to play games, right? Now, I was watching, and we talked about this, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, but, this morning they were talking about, well, it just got a whole lot cheaper for North Carolina to get out of the Bill deal before it gets started because after June 1, his buyout drops down to damn near nothing compared to if they let him go in May or April when all this Jordan Hudson stuff started.
I think it drops all the way down to $1 million bucks,
something like that.
Which is, for a school like that is nothing. So I find that interesting. Obviously, when you're looking at this, it's the SEC, the Big Ten, the most teams in the playoffs is what they're projecting. So they've got the most. And then when you go down to the group of 5.
Here we go.
Yeah, I find it interesting. The UTSA Roadrunners come in at number 9. In the top 10 there.
Boise State at number 1. And I wonder, I don't know how good Boise State is without Ashton Genty.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right? I mean, how good is Boise State? But since they were there last year, you give them the benefit of the doubt. Tulane, they're at number 2, obviously out of the American. They've been really good. UNLV has been spending money. Memphis is spending a lot of money, another team out of the American. Liberty is always, in recent years, they've been a part of the conversation. Toledo is a bit of a surprise out of the MAC. The Raging Cajuns out of the Sun Belt. South Florida, American. UTSA, American. Navy is at number 10 out of the American. So when you look at 5 of the top 10 in the group of 5, and that's all they do is list 10, half of them are out of the American, which is we've been saying it for years since UTSA got in there. That is the best of the group of 5 overall conferences. But for UTSA to be on that list, man, that's pretty freaking awesome.
I think it is awesome. But what's impressive is what you just said. The American Conference is a top-notch conference. I mean, it is, and it's not a cakewalk for anybody in that conference. I don't think UTSA, they do play Tulane this year. They don't play Navy. They play Army instead. But it's tough, man. It is a tough conference. And to get out of there, you've done something.
Well, and again, you look at just what Jeff Traylor has been able to do with this program. And they're in this conversation, just being listed in the top 10. Now, I know last year's overall record wasn't great, but they were undefeated at home again. And trying to break the record this year for attendance in that Texas State game, they've still got that promotion going on. Was it 35% off for 35 days where you can get your tickets, GoUTSA.com. But when you look at it and you think about the schedule, now, obviously starting with Texas A&M is going to be tough. But then they're home against Texas State. They're home against UIW, and their home schedule this year is phenomenal. And they've been so good at home. I think 29-3 under Jeff Traylor that, and it matters. But how good can this team be? You look at what Jeff Traylor has coming back and some of the new additions they were able to get healthy, and I think that goes with every team.
Sure.
But healthy, they're going to be right up there again competing for another championship in the American, which is the best of the group of 5 conferences.
Well, and what I like, if you keep going down in this article, and it's a fascinating article, and I'm going to keep it around just to see how they do, but UTSA is one of the biggest risers. They have risers and fallers, biggest risers, biggest fallers entering 2025, and UTSA is plus 15 as compared to 24. So there's obviously a lot of high hopes there and a lot of reason to be hopeful if you're a UTSA Roadrunner football fan that this program is going to be back and that last year was just nothing.
Well, I mean, last year were a ton of injuries. So you look at, and again, reasons or excuses, depending on how you want to couch it. Every program has depth issues, right? But you look at those reasons or excuses, however you want to say it, with the injuries they had last year and some of the stuff that they dealt with. I'm not surprised to see them on a risers type of list. It's funny, with the exception of the Dallas Cowboys, most people will look at a team and say, yeah, they dealt with a ton of injuries. That was a fluke last year. They're going to be better this year because the injury bug generally doesn't strike twice like that.
That's absolutely correct. Moving down on this article, they have the most anticipated games of 2025. Texas is the top two. Texas at number 2. Georgia is actually number 1. And then Texas at Ohio State is number 2. So I find that interesting. You go down the list, Texas is on this list quite a bit. The Oklahoma game, the Texas A&M game, the Florida game, all of those highly anticipated when it comes to Texas. So, it could be a very exciting year for the University of Texas, no doubt. And then they've got Texas A&M there against LSU, which I love because that has really started to develop into a big rivalry, the Aggies and the Tigers.
Absolutely. A&M's on here for their Notre Dame game, Texas-Kentucky game. Basically, every big school Texas plays is one of the games of the year. It's kind of how it feels.
Is that Arch Manning guy? Maybe that's him?
Arch Manning, expectations, national championship bullseye. However much money Sark is spending on the roster, he denies 40, but he doesn't say if it's higher or lower. He just wants $15 million more. But when you look at it, for the Texas Longhorns, and they've been, since Sark has been there, in that conversation as legit title contenders, playoff team the last 2 years, you got to figure eventually they're going to break through. And if Arch Manning lives up to the expectation, then not only you're looking at a national championship team, you're also looking at a potential Heisman-winning quarterback who's likely to come back for another year. That's one of the crazy things when you think about Arch, because he's a Manning and everything that they have said, there's no given that it's a one-year starting role for Arch Manning. You know, it feels like everybody close to the UT program, they're kind of counting on 2 years. They wouldn't be surprised if it was 1, but they're kind of counting on 2 years based on all the indications they have received from the Mannings. At least that's the reports.
Well, and that's, I think, a safe bet, to be honest with you. But it's the University of Texas, and I think they recruited a couple of quarterbacks that are supposed to be pretty good just in case.
Oh, sure.
That Arch decides to hang it up. Because let's face it, if Arch Manning wins the Heisman and Texas wins the national championship, what are you coming back for? I mean, honestly.
I mean, there is that to do it twice.
Well, maybe.
I mean, and again, money's not a factor. And again, family money, everything about them, everything about the Mannings, but also the amount of money it appears that Arch Manning is getting on his own as a college quarterback. And maybe what he saw happen to the guy he's replacing, you know, all of a sudden you think he's going to be a mid-round pick that goes in the 7th round. Yeah, there's no guarantees.
Well, I think there is with Arch Manning.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Arch Manning is a guarantee. If he wins the Heisman and Texas wins the national championship, Arch may want to sit back and see who's got the number 1 draft pick before deciding. If it's Cleveland, I'm going to stay at Texas.
Cleveland's got 1,000 quarterbacks now. They don't need another one, do they?
Yeah, they always need a quarterback. It's where quarterbacks go to die. Cleveland, Ohio. That's right. Fascinating. I just thought that was fascinating. And Texas, high hopes for the University of Texas Longhorns this year. No doubt it's going to be a fun season in the college. And UTSA, by the way, a fun season coming up for them as well. Hey, the Cowboys, hopefully it's a fun season for them too. Only time will tell. They've done the job, and their head coach is winning the month of May. Can he continue winning? We're going to talk Dallas Cowboys football when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. The clock is ticking. We'll get a finals game eventually. How can the Pacers win?
What do you mean eventually? We've got a finals game tonight. Stanley Cup action underway, baby. Oilers, Panthers, we're going to ram it down your throat. Morning Huddle party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat. Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? You can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get chicken parmesan delivered. Sunshine? No. Some wine? Yes. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. See app for details.
That's some great music, but I come back with a sad story. Don't know if you've seen this today or not, but the great Jim Marshall passed away at the age of 87. Now, some of you might not know who Jim Marshall is, but I'm old enough to remember Jim Marshall. He played for the Minnesota Vikings, a member of the Purple People Eaters.
Captain
back in
Jim.
the day. Yeah.
87.
I tell you what, he was one of the toughest dudes because back in those days, the Vikings played at Metropolitan Stadium, which was outdoors.
None-degree weather.
It was cold, man. You think Lambeau Field is cold. Try playing in Minnesota in December. It was tough. And Jim Marshall had an incredible streak. You talk about a tough guy. He played 270 consecutive regular season games for the Minnesota Vikings. That's incredible. 270 consecutive regular season games for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that today is just unheard of.
You know, and in his position, like if you were a kicker, even a quarterback for that matter, but, man, when you're in the trenches, that truly is pretty remarkable. They were tougher back then. And, again, 87 years old.
Yep. The Purple People Eaters back in those days, man, it was they're the team, right? They got to the Super Bowl and just couldn't win it under quarterback Fran Tarkington, the original scrambler. He was. That guy used to run around like a madman, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably too young to remember that.
I am.
Well, I remember.
But I remember, watching the black and white footage and the black high tops and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it wasn't all black and white. Come on.
I think it was.
No. This guy retired in 1979. We actually had color TVs back then.
Did you?
Yes.
I thought they wore purple.
They did.
Why are they only in black and white?
Well, I'd ask Minix over there. He's trying to be funny.
No, I've seen the same highlights he has. What are you talking about?
Dude, they had color TV in 70s.
Well,
in the 70s, they did.
I remember. I was born in 73. I remember watching Tom and Jerry in Germany. And that was
in color, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
I think we had 3 channels. I don't remember.
I do.
I remember I was the remote.
Yes, I was too. I was the remote for my dad. But and those were the days. Those were the tough guys, man.
Or I'm trying to think, and I'm not trying to be funny, being serious. When you think about color and black and white film, when Drew Pearson made the catch, are those highlights in black and white, or are they in color? The original Hail Mary.
They're in color.
They're in color because you see that orange that gets thrown in. A lot of people thought it was a flag, but because it's Minnesota and it's none degrees and it's so gray, it just feels like it should be black and white. It's grainy as hell, even in color.
Their head coach's name was Bud Grant.
Bud Grant.
Yeah, he looked like he would just want to kick your ass all the time.
And, that dude would. I remember a couple of years ago, and just the video of it and asking Andrew Sendejo what that was like. But when they were dealing with the new stadium, when they were playing their games outdoors at the University of Minnesota, and look this up, they trot Bud Grant out for a game, and it's none degrees, and that guy's in a short-sleeve polo shirt. Everybody else is, bundled up properly, but not Bud Grant. That guy kept in office there at the facility, would always go in, but I don't think he owned a coat, or at least that was the story. And I forget what Andrew Sendejo said about playing in that game, but something along the lines of the coldest you've ever been in your life.
I guarantee you it had to have been. Some of the highlights, some of the games that you used to watch back in those days, man, it was just cold, and you were happy you were inside your living room. That's for sure. So rest in peace, Jim Marshall. Well, I tell you what, he was original tough guy, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, Cowboys going through their OTAs, and as we speak right now, they are on the practice field. Most of them, but not Malik Hooker. According to Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, there's a photo of him and the medical staff. Malik Hooker came off the field early today with the medical staff, has not returned.
Oh, no.
You never know this time of year. Hopefully we'll get an update here pretty soon. One of the other ones to look at is linebacker Maris Laufau. Nick also tweets he has bulked up this offseason, added a lot of muscle, and it's very noticeable.
Well, that's good. But just what you were talking about first, that's reason why guys like Micah Parsons aren't going to participate, because you never know. You turn an ankle, you snap an Achilles. I mean, and I hope that's not the case, but I mean, all of that.
Why would you speak that into existence?
Well, all of those kind of things happen non-contact-wise. That's why those guys don't get on the field, nor should they, until you get that guaranteed money.
Now, Micah Parsons did show up today because it's team picture day, apparently.
Yes, it is.
Not on the practice field, not doing any of that. He wasn't there this morning, but he did show up this afternoon. Nobody seemed to know that he was going to show up for the team picture, and certainly not head coach Brian Schottenheimer, who was talking earlier about Micah and saying, look, it's funny because Micah did show up today, but when Schotty talked this morning, you could tell that he wasn't expecting, because he talked about you can be present, not be here.
Yeah, I mean, again, being present doesn't necessarily mean being here all the time. Doesn't mean necessarily having to practice. It means being present, being around the guys. I mean, we all don't see the things that some of these guys do away from here. There's a lot of work being done away from here, whether it's with other players in the NFL, our guys, things like that. And, again, you know, the thing that I know about Micah is Micah wants to be here. He's excited about what we're building. He's been a big proponent of that. And you can lead a lot of different ways. And this is a business. And they're working through the business part of this deal. But, again, everything I've asked him to do, everything that I've required, no different than everybody that's here, he's been great with. And so that gets me excited. And I'm a big fan of Micah.
You know, when we first heard that, and we were talking in the office before the show, Jason, that we were kind of thinking he was setting the stage for the mandatory minicamp to come next week, that he'll be here, but if you're looking for him to be doing anything, then you might miss that, because he probably won't.
No, it's the business side of football, and he shouldn't be there. You know, it's like and it's weird, although we look at it as being weird. These are voluntary practices. You're not required to show up. Now, I don't know about many of you, but if your job said, and it wasn't like a charity deal, but you guys want to show up for work and you want to do something voluntary-wise because we need the help or whatever the case is, I don't know how many people are showing up when you're not getting paid, right?
Right.
And I don't know if they get paid extra for showing up or not, but it's voluntary. It's not mandatory. Next week they get paid. Next week they can be fined for not showing up. But even doing rehab, like Trayvon Diggs is doing rehab down in Miami. By all accounts, he's on schedule. But Schotty was asked if he wished Diggs was doing stuff inside the building there in Frisco.
I think everybody now has their own people that they use. It's kind of the day and age of football. But again, it's all voluntary. He's been in great communication. We've been in contact with his doctors, his rehab people down there. But the game has changed. I mean, it's interesting. These guys have been forced to, in a lot of ways, have to go out and have O-line coaches, quarterback coaches, receiver coaches, DB coaches, because of the limitations that the league is, rightfully so, with the PA negotiated. And I think it's the day and era of football and where we're at.
I would tell you what, Brian Schottenheimer needs to run for governor when he's done. That dude is the most politically correct guy I've ever heard. Or rightly so, according to the CBA. I mean, he covers all the bases. He does. Trayvon doing his thing somewhere else, that's fine. I saw where DeMarvion Overshown was out there, doing some stuff. Obviously, he can't do a lot, but he was out there rehabbing, and some of the other guys that are everybody's there. It appears that is supposed to be there.
Sure, although it's interesting because you see this throughout. when guys aren't there for the voluntary part, you know it pisses off the coaches. Shoddy's still a rookie at this. But he answers the question as politically correct. You just wonder, what is he saying behind closed doors, right? And Shoddy strikes me as the kind of guy that actually, if he was pissed, would tell you. But we don't know him yet well enough as a head coach to know, like, will that answer be different next week for the mandatory if he's not there? And again, you can do your rehab all you want on your own, but I'd rather you be doing that with our doctors, not just our doctor talking to your doctor about how the rehab is going. You know, there's just something about, dude, you're not on vacation. And we want to see you back. We need you on the field. Be a part of this here. I know what's going on down in Miami. It's great. Weather's great. You're at the beach. I don't know if he was hanging out with his brother on that boat the other day, but you know, his brother got off that boat and got on a plane and went to work.
He did.
Because his coach was pissed.
Yeah, he was. Mike Vrabel was not happy that he was on that boat and it went viral and all of that stuff. I didn't see Trayvon on the boat unless he was underground there, under deck.
Under deck. Below deck. Below deck. It's got some real nautical terms, Ryan Eagle.
Yeah, well, I
mean, with all the chicks on that boat, I don't know if we would have noticed there was another dude there or not.
Well, maybe not, because there were a lot of women on that boat, that's for sure.
And the only reason why you noticed Stephon Diggs is because of what was in his hands.
Yeah.
What he might have been passing out.
A baggie full of something. Yeah. But
dummies.
He got
Who knows?
He got the message from Mike Vrabel, and he got to work. So we'll see. But look, I think again, Schottenheimer's won the month of May, and now that we're into June, he's winning June as well. With all he's done, with the changes he's made, the things that he says, the changing of the culture there, it looks more like a family. What I love, Jason, he brought in some former players, and the best thing about that, it wasn't about what they did as football players, but it's about what they're doing now. And he said basically he wanted to show those guys that, look, there is life after football, and you can be successful there as well. And his message, his stuff is great.
I don't think so. Not when the head coach sits up here and talks about the ultimate goal is to win a world's championship. You know, I think it's to be celebrated. You know, you've got an incredible organization, incredible team, but the history speaks to what we're about. And so I think some people might view it as being burdensome. I don't. I think it's awesome. I think the more those guys are around, the more we see their Super Bowl rings, you know, which they wear very proudly. I think that's great for our guys because that's why we do it, you know, and we don't hide from that. And again, you know, I talk a lot about that. Like, it doesn't mean there's not a process, right? There's a process that goes into winning a world's championship. You know, it just doesn't. You know, you talk about the steps to help you get there, and we do that quite a bit. You know, you have to win games at home. You have to win games you're supposed to win. You have to get into the playoffs and all those things. But I think it's meaningless to set an arbitrary goal about, hey, we want to win 10 games or we want to do this. You know, we want to win a Super Bowl, and we don't hide from that.
And you hear that, and they don't hide from it, and because there were a lot of former players that they brought in, and a lot of those guys have rings. And it's not just, hey, you get a ring, but you know, life after football. And I like the idea of Shoddy welcoming in a lot of the alumni. Not every program does that this time of year.
Well, number one, is one of my favorite days of the offseason. You know, there's such great tradition and history here with the Cowboys, and you talk about not just the Super Bowl, you know, trophies, but some of the great players. I mean, to have a chance, I think we had over 25 guys that came and attended. We wanted to open up the team meeting for them. We wanted them to kind of see our energy and our juice, the way we like to operate. I think that when you talk about these guys paved the way for the guys that sit in those chairs today. And to celebrate those guys and to make them feel welcome is too easy. I mean, they're part of our family, you know. It's like having a uncle or a grandfather in some cases that you can use as a sounding board, you can use as a mentor. You know, are they going to be friends? Hell, I hope so. But if they're not, there's experiences that they can garner from the likes of Randy White, Bob Lilly, Michael Irvin, Dat Wynn. I mean, go round and round about the guys that were here. And I think that's important. It's important for our players to see guys that have not only gone out and been incredible football players, whether they're Ring of Honor, whether they're all-pro, all-decade team like some of those guys, or whether they've gone on to do incredible things in life. And there's guys that have gone on and have had even more success as entrepreneurs and businessmen. That's important for our players. Football's going to end for our players at some point. But more than anything, it was a chance to bring them back, watch them be celebrated, but to begin to develop the relationship. And I want those guys to know they're always welcome, and there's a place for them to celebrate the tradition. And I'd be lying if I said that, Brady James is the only one that might not have had a good day, because he lost to Joe Looney in a basketball shooting competition. And offense wins again.
Boom.
Wow. You lose to Joe Looney?
Uh-huh. Yeah, Brady James can't be thrilled that got put out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. Joe Looney, I love Joe Looney. Great guy, funny guy, but I don't see him as a basketball player.
And Brady James, I kind of do.
Yeah.
But again, he mentions a Brady James there and a Dat win and the businesses that those guys had together. And, when Dat got Chick-fil-A, he sold out to Brady James. But then all the other guys that were there, and again, great players, great business people as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I love the fact that they're bringing these guys in. And that part of it I liked. It wasn't just because they were great football players. It's because of what they've done after football. And I think that is that's incredible. So, again, Shotty, you won the day. June 3rd, 2025, you won the day. So you are the reigning champ as we sit here today. Let's hope that continues as we move on into the offseason. That's for sure. We got more tickets to give away. We're going to do that in the next hour. But Seether and Daughtry. And POD is also on that bill.
Yep.
Now, see, you could probably explain that. I know Daughtry, but I'm not familiar with the other two.
Seether and POD?
Yeah. Can you hum a few bars?
No.
Pledge can. You can hum a few bars.
Dude, this isn't the morning show. We're not doing bad singing here.
I totally agree. This isn't a karaoke show like they do in the morning.
Yeah, no bad karaoke here. Unless we're singing for your supper, but we're not going to do that for Seether and Daughtry tickets.
No, we won't do that.
No.
We won't do that.
No.
We got a lot coming up in the next hour as we continue here with the halfway point of the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Don't go anywhere. We're talking UTSA baseball coming up in the next hour.
Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at SASportsStar.com.
Hey guys, are you or your spouse looking to lose weight in time for summer? Head over to any Synergenics or Low T Center for prescription weight loss treatment options. If you qualify for treatment, you can get a free B12 shot when you start. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
South Texas summer is no joke. With temperatures in the triple digits, your roof takes a beating. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. They're local, family-owned, and ready to help. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from a team that knows South Texas weather. Whether it's commercial or residential, a small repair, or a whole new roof, get peace of mind with Stevens Roofing. Call 210-785-0994 today. Stevens Roofing has you covered.
Missions fans, get ready for AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium, presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Enjoy $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. Tonight, first pitch at 7:05 p.m. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at samissions.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You know the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the big news of the day, the New York Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau. He led the Knicks to their first East Finals in 25 years, but today they showed him the door. Hey, public nominations are being accepted now for the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. Nominees must have made an impact in the world of sports through outstanding athletic achievements or contributions while having ties to San Antonio. Nomination forms available online through July 6th at sanantoniosports.org.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Sure appreciate you stopping by and listening to us and commenting and doing all of that stuff on our YouTube page. You can like and subscribe the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix to my right. James Pledger is here as well. You can get Jason Minix on Twitter, at Jason Minix. You can get me, at Joe Reinagle 210, for anything that you have to say. And we've got a poll up, Jason.
Yeah.
On our YouTube page that we've got some votes there about what is the best fast food burger and fry combination. What is your go-to here in San Antonio? And there's a reason we put that up today.
Yeah, now right now it's interesting because YouTube only gives you 4 options. So we go Whataburger, Freddy's, Sonic, and other. Whataburger at 52%. Freddy's at 12%. Sonic at 3%. 33% say other. So if you go other, write in the comments what is the best burger and fry combination. And this started with, you know, like most things in the office, something weird happens, and that leads to a discussion that ends up on the air. So, you know, we're in the office, Joe and I getting ready, and grumpy-ass Greg Shelton just randomly pops in and said, I went to Whataburger for lunch. All right, cool. He never says that. And then he proceeded to tell the story as how he ordered on his mobile app, and while he was waiting in his assigned spot, a lady knocked on his door. Now, granted, we're off Austin Highway, so all kinds of weird stuff. When he first started the story, I thought it's either a hooker or a homeless lady.
Could have been both.
It could have been both for a burger, but apparently it was, a lady just looking for food. Asked Greg, can you buy me a burger? And Greg politely said, no, ma'am. I don't know how politely, because we all know Greg.
Polite,
but he said, no, ma'am.
Yep.
And then she said, well, bless you, because you're going to need it, because you're going to hell because you can afford that burger.
And she doesn't know that, whether he can afford a burger or not. I mean, she doesn't. And so
she was stalking Greg Shelton.
I felt bad for her. But he said that she walked away, didn't knock on anybody else's window, and she had a big gulp in her hand.
Yep. Now, again, she didn't ask anybody else. Maybe she just had a fear of getting rejected again. I mean, because if you get rejected by Greg Shelton, your confidence level has to be pretty damn low at that point, don't you think?
I would think so.
But then he started to say, I don't know about Whataburger anymore. And I don't know. To me, Whataburger hasn't changed. I've heard other people say that Whataburger has changed, but to me, it's the same. And they got great fries and they got a great burger. But that led to the discussion. Who's got the best burger and fry combination? Because, see, Wendy's has a great burger, but their fries suck.
Yes.
Freddy's, great burger. Reinagel hates their fries because they're different.
Well, they're little stringy things.
Yes.
And they're awful. You can't even dip those things in ketchup.
Oh, well, you can.
You can't.
Well, not one at a time, but you get kind of a handful.
Well,
it's a different eating experience.
It is, and I don't like it.
Yes. So, and then, Sonic, although generally it's Sonic, I get their tots. I like the Sonic burger. Generally, if, I don't know, I've already had Whataburger, I want something different. McDonald's has great fries, but not always a great burger. Now, there are times that I'm like, dude, I want a Big Mac. I haven't had a Big Mac in forever. And then I have one, and I realize why I haven't had one in forever. But McDonald's, for me, because, again, the restaurant options near where the station is, there's a Panda Express. If I'm going Panda, but the line is long, I'll end up at McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is good, and some of them still have them, some of them don't. You used to get the double cheeseburger meal, the little cheeseburger, because you can drive.
Yeah, the all-American meal is what they call that. Yeah,
but some don't have it anymore. I have to ask for it.
Well, or you just buy because that is the best burger to eat while you're driving.
Yes.
You won't spill anything.
Nothing.
Because there's nothing to spill.
Yeah.
But that is a great driving burger. It's like you like to drive and get the little mini tacos at Jack in the Box.
Yeah, because you can eat them.
Eat them and drive.
Chick-fil-A's the same way. I can eat a Chick-fil-A sandwich without spilling it all over me.
Exactly. Although if I'm driving and eating Chick-fil-A, I'm generally going with the nuggets at that point.
Well, I get both. Because, see, I've got it timed out. There's a Chick-fil-A close to where I live, and by the time I get to work, I can polish off a burger and 8 nuggets, and I'm good to go.
See, now here's what I'm curious of. On our YouTube chat right now, and go vote in the poll on YouTube, and you could chat in there. Gilbert said, had Whataburger last night, it was Casey says, Whataburger meat has a different consistency. I have not noticed that. I know people say that because they got bought by a big old corporation that ain't from here, so now we hate them because
bunch of foreigners.
I have not noticed any difference. Like, man, Whataburger's changing, not for the better. To me, Whataburger is one of the most consistent restaurants out there. They've got one location that I refuse to go to because they can't get an order right.
I love that location.
Outside of that, ask for no tomatoes one time. You'll get extra. Outside of that location, they're always very consistent.
I like Whataburger. I always get the number 4. It's the jalapeno burger, and it's great. Yeah, a little combo there. It's perfect.
But we're looking for fast food because there's people like, what about Chester's? No, that to me, that's not fast food burger.
No.
Longhorn Cafe, not fast food. Burger Boy is entering that conversation in my mind because they're now popping up with locations all over the place. Apparently, they just opened up one near the radio station, which that's good for me.
That's good for me, too.
Yes.
I like Burger Boy.
Burger Boy's fantastic. But I've always kind of kept them out of the quick fast food, like national chain conversation. There's an In-N-Out not far from the station. Don't like In-N-Out in San Antonio. I love In-N-Out when I'm in California.
I don't like it anytime.
I know you don't because you're Joe.
They're horrible.
But not horrible.
Horrible.
They're not horrible.
It's the worst.
I don't know, but they got good fries.
Well, I was just so disappointed. And I couldn't wait to try an In-N-Out burger in L.A., and I couldn't wait. That's all I'd heard about how great this is. And go to In-N-Out, and I'm like, what the hell?
It's because you compare. Everybody wants to compare it to Whataburger. It's a completely different style of burger.
It's not even good.
Oh, well, that's not true.
It's not good.
There's lines all over the place around there.
It's a bunch of sheep.
Even here, but again, if it's not good, why are they expanding across the country?
Because people are sheep, and it's like, oh, In-N-Out burger. Oh, it must be good. Everybody says it's good. It's not.
Uh-huh.
It's horrible. I veto In-N-Out burger.
Yeah.
Boycott.
Next week. Hey, Joe Reinagle here for In-N-Out Burger. You want a double-double?
Yes.
Make it animal style.
Well, if you sell them, Minix, I'm in.
Yes, I would not do that. And again, there's a lot of people that say it sucks. Tried it in Cali, and it didn't taste the same. To me, I don't think it sucks, but I know I'm in L.A. when I have one. There's one in Vegas, too. Don't like it, right?
I'd rather go to Carl's Jr. in L.A.
Well, see, now Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, again, I mean, they used to have really good commercials. They just didn't have really good burgers. They're all done, right?
Well, I don't know. Are they? No, there's no more Carl's Jr.'s?
Around here, it's kind of like Rowley's. I mean,
around here, but I'm talking about L.A.
Well, I'm sure they're still in L.A.
I'm sure they are.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. And again, all these places exist because people go. Somebody mentions P. Terry's. I'm not the biggest P. Terry's fan out there.
I'm not a big fan of that place either.
Their fries suck.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. And you know what? It's important. Fries are important. I mean, they really are. It sometimes makes the burger that much better. And you know, like Chick-fil-A, the little waffle fries, great, fantastic. But I don't like that all the time. It's like Whataburger fries to me are the best.
Whataburger or McDonald's.
Now, McDonald's are good too.
But if you get McDonald's fries, you probably end up with a McDonald's burger, which is probably, I don't know. Who's got the best burger fry combo?
It's got to be both, and it's got to be fast food, okay? So Edward Acosta on our YouTube page says Burger King. And, you know, Burger King is underrated a little bit. A little bit. I haven't had a Burger King in a while, but a little underrated. It's not horrible.
I'm trying to think the last time I had Burger King.
Yeah, they're building a new one right there on Perrin Vinyl, right if you come off what's
410?
The other one.
Wurzbach Parkway?
Wurzbach Parkway,
They're building a what?
A Burger King.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
I drive by that way often. I didn't know that.
Well, when you drive by, look to your right. Well, that old gas station, it's right there.
All right. Well, because I know, on Perrin Vinyl, and again, places close to the radio station for the quick lunch, Arby's went away. So on that area, you've got Wiener Schnitzel, the hot dog place, Schlotsky's, or Subway. Or you keep going down, you go to Dairy Queen.
Well, all of those places are great, especially Dairy Queen.
Well, except for Arby's is closed, so something needs to go into that building.
Well, I'm glad Arby's is closed.
Why would you be glad Arby's is closed? Their curly fries are fantastic.
The meat is fake. It's just fake meat.
What is fake meat? You like Jack in the Box tacos.
Well, exactly. I like Alpo.
I mean, you're going to talk about fake meat and tell me about your Jack in the Box tacos?
I like Alpo. All right. Don't judge me.
Oh, we're judging you. I mean, you get those things when the sun is out. Jack in the Box tacos are only good after drinking and the moon is out.
Well, no, I agree, the big ones, but the little mini tacos I can eat. I like to eat when I drive. And see, I can eat those things. Because, like coming to work, I try to finish before I get here. Whether that's Chick-fil-A or tacos or whatever the case may be. Because if I stop at Dairy Queen, I'm going to usually get 3 or 4 orders of tacos.
Well, that's just for pledge.
Well, most of them are, yes. When you were gone in Phoenix, we managed to have a nice little picnic in here with Dairy Queen tacos.
Did you really?
Sure did. I got 3 orders, and he had 5 of them. I had 4.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
They were delicious.
You must have been eating fast to get 4.
You got to hurry when Pledge is around.
Dude.
I'm telling you.
I mean, Pledge eats kind of like a dog that hadn't eaten in a while, man. That dog is into that bowl before you're done setting it down.
I'm telling you, man.
Breathe, dude. Breathe and chew.
And you ever hear Pledge like,
oh, dude.
When you reach in there, man, he growls at you. I'm telling you. It's like, jeez. Okay. All right, AD's telling me on our YouTube page that eating and driving is against the law.
What?
Is it?
No.
It's not against the law.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
I mean, you eat, drive, and talk on your cell phone at the same time while speeding and not using your blinker to change lanes.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So there. Y'all continue to vote on the poll.
Hold on. Miss Becky says Buddy's Burgers.
Wait a minute. Miss Becky is back?
Miss Becky is back.
Well, welcome back, Miss Becky.
What is Buddy's Burgers?
I don't know.
I've never heard of Buddy's Burgers.
Apparently there's a chain in Austin, but she doesn't. I don't think there's one here in San Antonio, Miss Becky. But welcome back to the YouTube chat. We've missed you. Now, Pledge wrote it up here. There's no specific law. Texas doesn't have a law outlawing.
Can you read, sir?
Well, not really. Eating while driving. So there you go.
Well, how do we know that?
Well, Pledge looked it up. Google knows everything.
Yeah, there's some cop listening right now that will let us know.
Exactly. I wish you would. If there is a law enforcement officer, give us a call, 656-3776. I'd like to know, but apparently there's not. I'm okay with that because I'm not distracted when I eat and drive.
You're not?
No. I know exactly where. Wait, I know exactly where my mouth is. While I'm driving.
Somebody pulled out motion that he just made and turned that into a GIF.
Dude, you see, I got to think about everything I do, every movement I make.
Well, why would you make that movement when you're talking about eating a burger?
Well, because typically I got one hand on the wheel and the other hand on the burger, and so you're eating with one hand.
Yeah, well, you don't make an ice cream motion while you're pretending to eat a burger.
Well, I have no idea what the hell it is, so there.
Yeah. That might be worse.
I might need to grab the knob. Yeah.
That particular act, I think, is frowned upon and probably illegal while driving.
I would assume so, unless you're not the one doing it. You're driving and somebody else is doing it.
I think you're still distracted.
Absolutely. But it's a good distraction.
It is.
It's a good distraction. Oh, my goodness.
Just don't rear end anybody.
Yeah. Is that a distraction? There's a little hole in the trunk where it can go through. Oh, my goodness sake. Whew. All right, how do you transition into UTSA baseball from there?
Need a bird bath.
Need a bird bath.
A
new one. Yeah, we're going to talk some UTSA baseball and their need for a new baseball field. We'll do that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons, Joe. So if you get yourself arrested and you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you want to get out of jail fast with stress-free bail bonds, you call AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey, what? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you
Shoot, did he see us? Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale, which means if you're shopping for summer, you can get insider deals on our best brands, even ones that aren't usually on sale, like an extra 30% off Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance. And with Father's Day just around the corner on June 15th, it's a great time to shop for Dad. Stop by Macy's today and walk out with the perfect gift. Don't miss Friends and Family. Going on now, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know what I love, Jason? The fact that we talk about UTSA athletics and we're talking about big-time stuff, right? The football team obviously is leading the way. The baseball team now in the super regionals. And this university is coming up, and sports are becoming a big deal. And the more that I love about this is that the more the sports success they have, the more the university is on the map.
And that's it. It's a Power 4 big-time program and playing in the American and doing a lot of great things and seemingly getting a ton of support. Now, you look at, we know they're going to play UCLA. Saturday is game 1. Sunday is game 2. And if a third game is needed, that will be Monday out in Los Angeles. Yesterday, we had Pat Hallmark here on the Blitz. And asked him a random question that I was curious of, because I know their facility kind of sucks. If UCLA had lost, UTSA would have been in line to host this super regional, except could they have, knowing that their stadium is in the condition it's in? Listen to what Pat Hallmark had to say.
We would not be able to host on campus. We don't have a facility that qualifies, that meets the NCAA specs to host a postseason game. So, no, we would not have been able to host. And I'm glad you brought it up, because I've been telling anyone that will listen that I came back to San Antonio, so a little bit of a long version. I was at Rice for years when Wayne Graham had that thing going good, and then I went to Missouri. And I came back here to UIW and eventually to UTSA because of the recruiting foundation that's here in Central Texas and South Texas. There's great amateur baseball here. You don't need to leave the state. You can find plenty of what I call like that tier 2 player that Texas and A&M and TCU are not going to get. Like, that player can still win. That's what we have on our roster. That's what we're proving. And the problem that I think the people running UTSA, they see it as a problem, is they don't want to invest a lot of money into a program that doesn't make money. And now we're proving to them that we can. With the product on the field will produce fans in the seats. You got to give the fans a seat that they want to sit in. They want to watch the product on the field. So now give them the seat that's worthy of the product on the field, and we'll make enough money to feed ourselves. We don't need football to feed us. There are some programs in the country that can do this, and we're in the middle of San Antonio. There's enough people here where this can happen. And I've never quite been this bold and blatant with talking about it because I hadn't done it yet. We hadn't done it yet. But now we have, so I don't mind talking about it. I hope you guys talk about it. We need to build a facility. We need to build a stadium that mom and dad and 2 kids in San Antonio that like baseball, they'll come out here. They support the Missions, and the Missions are from all over the world. We got a roster full of Texas kids that'll be here for 4 years. People would much rather support that roster than a professional roster that's from all over the world. They don't know them, and they're going to be gone in 1 year. So anyway, you're 100% right. We just need the people running UTSA to do it.
Well, do it. And is it that easy, though? And that's the thing. Look, UTSA, and we talk about it all the time with the football program, where is the money coming from? UTSA doesn't have the big-pocketed donors that, say, the University of Texas has. And so I don't know where the money comes from, so I'm not trying to pile on the administration there at UTSA. But look, I wouldn't want to go watch the UTSA baseball team in the facility they're in right now.
You know, admittedly, it's been a while since I've been to that facility, but I can't imagine it's any better than the last time I was there. Now, Lisa Campos will be on the Blitz tomorrow at 5:15.
Yep.
We'll ask her. UTSA did send out a notice today that you can secure your spot at Roadrunner Field for the 2026 baseball season. That's right. They're accepting season ticket deposits for next year for just $30. You can get your deposit down. And again, UTSA trying to cash in on their success, because I do think that a lot of what Pat Hallmark said is right. There are people that would like to go out there and watch, but that stadium is less than desirable. So now,
the seats certainly, the bleachers are, yes, for sure.
Now, I don't know what they need and how they need to do it, or what it would actually cost, because I did see over the weekend the Roadrunner Athletic Fund or whatever it is, these markings for a new practice facility, and I know they're doing that for a new basketball facility. If I'm running UTSA, we've had this same conversation about the Convocation Center for years. When are they going to get a new arena to play in? I know they're in the process of that practice facility, but what about a game facility? If I'm running UTSA and my priority is at a new arena that could be used for men's and women's basketball and volleyball, or a baseball stadium, where are we going to put it? Does the field itself need to be replaced out there, or do they just need to build a great seating area around it with concessions and, bleachers or seating, or I don't know, the Missions are going to be moving soon. Could they just have their home games over there?
That to me is a great idea, because I don't know where you would put a new facility on campus. And I hate to get things off of campus, honestly, because I think it cheats some of the students who don't have a way to get there, which is a whole nother issue. How do you get them there and all this stuff? Because, look, if you're going to school there and you live on campus, you say, hey, the baseball team's going to play tonight. Let's go. You can't do that at Wolf Stadium. But that is a solution once the Missions have their new home. It's certainly a solution if they could work out a deal, and it wouldn't be the worst of things. But the NCAA, the NCAA in this case, would not allow UTSA to host a super regional right now. And the problem you have, the Missions are in town this weekend. I don't know what the hell they would have done.
I don't know. Did they go to one of the high school facilities? That would be kind of embarrassing.
Yes, it
would. Or
would.
one of the other all of the alternatives outside of Wolf Stadium, which is booked this weekend, would be embarrassing for UTSA. On Twitter, at John3C, tweets at Joe Reinigle 210, at Jason Minix. UTSA barely has a baseball field but wants to take deposits for the 26 baseball season. Come on, man. They got to put some money into this program before asking fans and alum to buy in. Another tweet says, I agree, they got to do upgrades to the facility. It's bad. I think we all agree that it's bad facilities, but what comes first, chicken or egg, John? I mean, they need those deposits and that financial support to even think about doing some of those upgrades. I hope that this baseball run has had some donations coming in that's going to help for facilities and also baseball NIL. If they win 2 games in Los Angeles this weekend, they're going to Omaha. They're going to the College World Series. Yet, I think McAllister Park has a better facility than UTSA.
There's no question. I mean, look at the Northside Gym.
Oh,
I mean, that new high school gymnasium they built there at well, you know where it is, off 1604 in Bandera.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that thing is beautiful.
Well, and the new, well, it's not new anymore, but the baseball facility that NEISD has put together. There are so many great facilities. And, you know, that park over on Wetmore. I mean, it's embarrassing to think where UTSA is at right now in the American. And their facilities are still in the Southland, still in the 90s.
Dude, I don't even know if it's the Southland anymore.
If that, well, I don't know what's below that. But that's what I'm saying. You hear Dr. Amy talking about being a big time program, and I know UTSA is there, and I don't want to sound like I'm piling on. I'm rooting for them to keep doing all the right things, and they have been doing all the right things. But when you have the baseball team doing what they're doing with what little it seems like they're receiving. And this is some of the stuff we'll talk with Dr. Campos about tomorrow. But you hear it from Pat Hallmark. I mean, he said, I mean, you heard that. I mean, it's on the administration. The people running UTSA have to support this program. I don't know how little support he's been getting, but their facilities are there. Again, he said, people want to come watch. You have to have a nice seat for them to be able to sit in while watching the product on the field.
Yeah, you don't want to leave with a bunch of splinters in your behind, because that's kind of what it is there. But look, it's the other thing that I will say, the baseball team has had a fantastic season.
Mm-hmm.
Other than getting an email every now and then, who knew? I mean, sincerely, who knew? And I'm talking about not just us, the television stations. I didn't see many stories on UTSA baseball. Maybe there were a few, but it'd be nice to have somebody call, hey, guess what? We're having a great season. The first baseman, he's available. Can he come on and talk about it? And I'm just saying, some of that falls on the PR staff, and they've got to do a better job of promoting this stuff because, I mean, sincerely, we knew they were having a good year, but how many people out there knew it unless you are a diehard follower of UTSA baseball?
Now, to be fair, even if they offered us somebody back in March, we probably would have said no.
I don't know if we would have.
To be fair, I just look at, but part of it's awareness and what does the audience want to hear? Like right now, UTSA baseball is a major talking point, and a lot of fans want to jump on. We don't know those players' names, and most of you don't, but UTSA is doing well, so let's jump on that bandwagon and ride that wave. They've been good the last 3 or 4 years, really good, but and they keep going further. And this year, school history. So I look at what they're doing, but also if they had a facility to go to that was worthy of, like, let's go, and it was one of those, especially for the college kids, the places you want to be seen at, and they don't have that right now. They just don't have that.
Well, and again, you want to get people out there, it's got to be a nice facility. And again, to go out there, especially if you got some kids you want to take out there and watch these guys play, because obviously you got a hell of a baseball team and a hell of a coach, and so it deserves that. And look, even the convocation center, as much as we rag on that, I mean, at least there's enough for people to sit down in comfortable seats, and it's you can watch the game. The baseball facility has none of that.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Paul wants to chime in. Hey, Paul, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to know, quick question. The money that UTSA received from the Institute of Texas Coaches, I don't know if they're leasing it to the city or they sold it for the the new Spurs arena that's going to be built there. Where's that money going to go to? I mean, is it going to go to some of the sports facilities that UTSA needs to upgrade, or, just kind of wondering where that money's going to go to?
It's a great question, because you got to keep in mind, and this is way above our pay grade. There's UTSA, the school, and then the athletic department. And how much money does the athletic department get versus the school general fund? And I know we've talked about this with Lisa Campos before and with Jeff Traylor to a degree. And again, this is surface level from the way I understand it. All this talk about rev share and the American Athletic Conference over a 3-year period is requiring a $10 million share. Depending on, over the 3 years, you have to at least share $10 million. Remember, that court ruling is going to be at, 20.5. UTSA and no team in the American is going to be able to do that. And if UTSA athletics can't raise that money, will the difference be covered by the general fund? And that would be, at I assume, President Amy's discretion on how they're going to get there. I don't think Dr. Amy would let the athletic department fail in that area, but I think it's on the athletic department, Lisa Campos and her staff, to be able to go raise that money.
Which is a tough thing to do. I mean, we just sit here and say, okay, just go get the money. To be fair, it's a difficult thing to do. And again, because this is still a fairly young school in a lot of ways, and a lot of people it was a commuter school for years. Now finally, they've got dorms and they got people that live there and can say that they're graduates, but it's not as easy. And I think April Ancira would back us up on this. I mean, she does a tremendous job of raising money, but I mean, just to go out and find millions of dollars is not exactly an easy thing to do. From a school that the alumni is not exactly, deep-pocketed at this point in time.
It's still a young alumni, and that's part of the problem. But the growth has been so fast, and the success during that growth may be unexpected. They got to play catch-up. I don't want to say they're kind of like I-35 construction. It never seems to be done. But I imagine if you're over there at UTSA, you probably feel that way at times because – just when you think you're getting close, the rules in college athletics have changed, and now you've got to be able to do this, and now you've got to be able to do that. Now, Ben Briseno, who is diehard Roadrunner fan and goes and sports all the sports out there, just sent a message saying the facility did get some improvements this fall. They added some aluminum grandstands, capacity about 1,000. Really?
It doesn't look like it's that much, but I guess if you squeeze together.
Yeah, cheek to cheek.
And look, if they got 1,000 people out for a baseball game in March, I think they'd be thrilled. But again, it takes some you got to put things together. The football team, people were excited about that because it's football. If this baseball team continues their success, I think there will become a following of the baseball team. And that goes for the basketball team, both men and women, and everything else that they have out there. It does take a little bit of success to get people to follow you. That's the way it is.
I mean, the reality is what UTSA wants is what they have at Texas A&M.
Well, sure.
At all these big programs. But quite frankly, you see stuff on social media, highlights and whatnot from a Texas State game, and they got a nice facility, and they got a lot of people in those stands to get to the level of a Texas. And they're not close to there yet, but if you had the facilities, more people are apt to go out there. Bluebell Park up there in College Station is one of those kind of places. So, again, you want to think big, you want to act big, you got to be big.
Well, you do, but if you don't have the money, you got to find it, and it just doesn't appear out of the clear blue sky. So there's some challenges for both the administration and the coaching staff all over there at UTSA. But obviously this is a topic of conversation we'll continue to speak on. Tomorrow, Lisa Campos will join us here on The Blitz at 5:15.
Yeah, and a little bit of news on Project Marvel we'll get into coming up.
Absolutely. Like to hear that, and we'll Talk about that and a lot more when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, if you're having issues at your house with your plumbing, your heating, your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899, 651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential, and commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission, sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. As far as your AC is concerned, if it goes out, you know it's an emergency. Call Quartermoon. But before it gets to that, call Quartermoon and have them come out and do a tune-up. Hit the jackpot with comfort. They've got their Lucky Sevens AC tune-up special going on right now for just $77. A 7-point AC inspection that keeps your system running cool and smooth. So call Quartermoon at 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle. The clock is ticking. We'll get a finals game eventually. How can the Pacers win?
What do you mean eventually? We've got a finals game tonight. Stanley Cup action underway, baby. Oilers, Panthers, we're going to ram it down your throat. Morning Huddle party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Here in Texas, we know that trust is earned and reputation matters. Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and that Texans can respect. A firm where no defendant is too big and no case is too small. Backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients, Thomas J. Henry remains the name you can depend on if you have been injured. Trust the firm that stands for you. Trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count, because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team: Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Oh, my
goodness. If you guys could only see Pledge.
I know it. He's having a good time in the glass box of fun over there.
Oof.
That is for sure. Daughtry, Seether, POD. Would you like to go see that trio at the 713 Music Hall, taking place November 12th? Tickets are on sale Friday, June 6th at 10 o'clock at livenation.com. So
win them before you can buy them.
Used to be a DJ, didn't you? Look at that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Take me back to the 90s.
So if you'd like to
POD.
win a pair of tickets to see Seether and Daughtry and POD November the 12th at the 713 Music Hall, just be caller number
13
at 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Good luck to you if you don't win your tickets. Again, this Friday at 10 o'clock, you can go to livenation.com and buy them there.
You know, as we talk about stadiums, go from the bird bath to Project Marvel. And we all keep waiting to get details on Project Marvel. Little Birdie tells me that could happen tomorrow.
Yep.
Apparently, the city is going to unveil their Project Marvel funding plan tomorrow at their B session. The agenda update, quote, funding framework, infrastructure, community benefit agreements, and community engagement is on the agenda for tomorrow. So that does sound like they're finally going to unveil a plan for how they're going to try to convince us to get this on the November ballot and vote yes. So,
well, it's about time,
yes.
And it's good. I'm glad this is happening. So we'll see what they say, and then we'll bring it to you here tomorrow for sure.
Absolutely. And again, you know, a couple of things on the idea of what they're working on, and I find it. I don't want to say weird or interesting because I know everything has to happen in a timely manner, right?
Yeah.
But the election for mayor is Saturday.
It is.
Today is the last day to early vote. So tomorrow, this plan is going to be unveiled. And you wonder, and I don't know how all this works, it's politics, but they unveil a plan tomorrow. Whoever wins the election on Saturday, do they have to go with it, or are they able to make any changes to it? Is there a rush to get this out now so that whoever wins on Saturday can't jack with it?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't think they can anyway, because it's kind of a city manager project when you look at it.
In a lot of ways.
So I don't know the power struggle or how that works with a city manager and the mayor of a city like San Antonio, but could be, and I'm glad that they're doing it because they need to. I mean, they need to get this out there. This needs to happen. People need to see it. They need to know every detail of how this thing is going to be financed, and so I applaud them. I'm glad that this is happening, and it's happening tomorrow. So. Maybe they were just waiting till after early voting ended and before the election on Saturday.
And again, and maybe this was a plan all along, because I do know there are deadlines they have to meet to get it on the ballot in November. And then you're going to have the campaign for and the campaign against by the different, what do they call them, political action committees,
exactly.
The PACs
Yes.
are going to be.
Yes.
But again, I'm a little surprised. And I don't even know after the election how long before the new mayor takes over, because, you know, Ron is termed out.
Yeah.
But I just find it interesting that early voting ends today. Tomorrow we get that. And then Saturday is the election. Can they change a plan if they want? Although I guess it's how they support it and go from there. I'm just glad that, I don't know, finally progress, and finally we have a better idea of how they're going to try to move forward with Project Marvel.
And that's what we've been calling for a long time, just a little transparency. And it looks like we're going to get a big dose of that tomorrow. So I'm thrilled that that's going to happen, and that's great news. C.J. Stroud didn't throw today.
Should there be concern? Oh, my goodness. C.J. Stroud, he's hurt. He's not throwing at practice. D'Amico Ryans, what's up with your quarterback?
First off, I know everybody's going to ask. First, is C.J. not throwing again? There's no concerns with C.J. It's just general soreness. We're taking extra precaution with him, but he'll be good to go. No concerns on my end there.
Wait a minute. General soreness from what? I mean, seriously, from what could he be sore from? I'm not. I mean,
there's some single guy jokes you can
well,
make.
Well, he's a young man. I'm sure he doesn't have a problem finding a date. But I guess when you're home alone, I don't know. But seriously, I heard that bite earlier, and I'm like, what in the world could he be sore from? What is the soreness? Was it from the last OTA? Did he throw too much?
He's not worried. The fact that D'Amico started the press conference that way is concerning.
Yes.
And honestly, I have no idea. But they even go general soreness. No, man, we want there's ways coaches can lie about stuff like that. We just want to see the other quarterbacks work.
Yeah,
it's voluntary. We didn't want him out there. Just general soreness. It's June.
Yeah, I don't know what he could be sore from. That's what is baffling. I don't get that general soreness. So he's not throwing. It's the 1st of June, right? We're at the 3rd of June. So we got a long way to go. But I'm just saying, general soreness sounds weird.
Well, yeah, almost as weird as your brand new old veteran cornerback deciding, you know what, I ain't doing this anymore. Ronald Darby, I don't know, he came into work and said I quit or I retire.
For Darby, with the decision that he made to retire, I know what that decision is like. It's not an easy decision, but I just want to wish Darby the best. I know it's a very difficult time to step away from the game that you love whenever that decision comes, whether, it's voluntary or it's your body saying you can't do it. It's difficult because you've done it for such a long time, and I don't take that decision lightly. And when it comes to us and how do we fill the position, yes, we'll look to add another corner. Whether it's a veteran or a younger player, whoever it may be, we'll look to add a guy.
Well, that is weird, but it's happened twice now. The center for the Detroit Lions just up and said, I'm done. He's 29 years old, and this dude was a stud.
Yeah, that's a big loss for the Detroit Lions. But for Darby, I mean, he's been in the league a long time, good player, although a lot of injuries after he signed that big deal with Denver, and then Sean Payton got there and got rid of him. And then he went to Baltimore, and then he went to Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville released him in March, and he quickly signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Texans and waited until June to retire. So does he keep some of that money because he was on the roster June 1? I don't know. The timing of it seems weird. From a Cowboy fan perspective, there's another team looking for a veteran corner.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of guys that you knew, the Gilmore types and some of the others that we've talked about for Dallas. Those are going to be the same kind of players that now Houston is going to be looking at. And I know a lot of you don't believe this, but it is so true. These veteran guys towards the end that aren't getting the mega dollars that they were used to getting. Like this is a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Texas makes a lot of sense because of the state income tax rules. They're going to keep more money than if they go to a higher taxed state like California or New York. So some of those players that you think could be Cowboys, now they could be Houston Texans. When you think about the veteran defensive back.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's options now. So, yeah, it does. It hurts the Cowboys if they're had their eye on somebody, then that corner now has an option to go play with the Houston Texans. So, going to be interesting. But, I guess after a while, and Darby, I understand. I get it. He's been hurt. He's been banged up. He gets there and just decides, you know what, I don't want to put my body through this anymore. I'm going to go do something else. But the dude from Detroit just baffles me. 29 years old. The guy was a complete stud.
You wonder, there are guys out there that leave the game maybe too soon with stuff left in the gas tank. But when you can't play up to your standard or you don't feel like you can play up to your standard, I see David on our YouTube. You talk about the shoulder soreness for C.J. Stroud. He's like, general soreness, that's waking up in your 40s
Exactly.
every day.
Yes.
I get that. For a pro athlete, that shouldn't be the case. But for a center, just getting out of bed every day, if that's a struggle at this point, You can't do it. And you're not going to do that to yourself or your teammates. But that is a big surprise for Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he's going to have to try to replace this guy, and who has just been the anchor of that offensive line there in Detroit. So it's tough, but just to hear guys retiring at a young age like that really is strange, because you don't hear a lot about that if they haven't had an injury history. And Frank Ragnow, who's that guy's name, the Detroit Lions center, he's had some stuff, but nothing, major that he would have said, well, I want to be able to walk when I'm 60. And so there's that. But that was a big blow. And then Ronald Darby today calling it quits.
Although I think from the NFL calendar standpoint, after June 1, your benefits and all that other, it's different than if you do it at the end of May. And so, there's got to be reasons. Now, granted, dude, you just signed in March. Did you not know in March you weren't going to play? How much of that money did they give you to get to keep for what? Coming to an OTA practice? I don't know how any of that works. And quite frankly, go get all of yours. Or is it, another percentage in your retirement? Because he's played long enough to he's going to get retirement from the NFL. But there is something about the timing that you see these retirements. You go back and you think about when Andrew Luck finally decided. So I keep thinking any day now we're going to hear about old Mr. Rogers picking a team, Pittsburgh, because it's now June.
I hope he picks team retirement.
I think he's a bum.
Team home for old folks.
Home health?
Yeah, something. Team other than anybody in the NFL. That would be nice.
The Brahmas could use a quarterback.
Yeah, they could. Hey, but that would be a good draw, wouldn't it? That'd put some butts in the seats in the Alamo Dome, wouldn't it?
Would it?
I think it would. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think it would. There's no doubt about it. How about Micah Parsons? He certainly put some butts in the seats. Obviously still negotiating a contract. Brian Schottenheimer talked about what he thinks Micah Parsons will do at the mandatory minicamp, which is coming up next week. By the way, Micah showed up today at OTAs. We'll hear from Shotty and his thoughts on Micah Parsons when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let me tell you about Kinetico Quality Water Softeners. I have one in my house, and it's the best thing that I've done. It really is. This thing is head and shoulders better than anything else that I've ever had. I have to tell you, it is the most popular water softener on the market. Kinetico's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. It's made right here in America. But all of that is great. All I know is it works, and it works so well. The clothes that I wear, cleaner. The dishes come out of the dishwasher, cleaner. You get out of the shower, cleaner. It's just a pleasure, and it's almost like you treat yourself when you take a shower in the morning. It is fantastic. And you know that you're not damaging any of those appliances or your pipes because, well, there's no hard water to deal with. And what I love about this thing is you don't plug it in. It does not run on electricity. It runs on that kinetic energy, which is nice. Not sure what that is, but I don't care because it provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when you need it. And right now, for a limited time, you're going to get a free reverse osmosis drinking station that the fine folks at Kinetico will install right there at your kitchen sink. It's like having bottled water at your kitchen sink. Also going to give you $400 for your old water softener, and they're offering you some free money. 0% interest for 12 months. 0% interest for 12 months. It is a great deal. You don't want to wait on this deal. Call Kinetico of San Antonio and the Hill Country. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at KineticoSA.com. And you know the jingle, sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star is KTFM Floresville and streaming online at SASportsStar.com.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames, because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Ugh, kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. A spider. A spider! Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Talking a lot of UTSA Roadrunner baseball, and now we know when they will play. A best-of-3 series in the Super Regional against UCLA out in L.A. Game 1 set for Saturday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. Going to be broadcast on ESPNU. Game 2 will be Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. If necessary, Game 3 on Monday. And the big news today, the New York Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau.
SportsCenter brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, about this time every day, I get very excited and very thrilled. For all of you people that are getting off work right now, congratulations! You made it through Tuesday. I'm happy for you. We still have an hour to go, but that's all right. We got a lot coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is right there to my right.
Yeah, my question, though, is what about the people that are still at work?
Well, I feel sorry for you, so we're still at work, too.
Yeah.
So that's okay. We'll all be here together and until we're not at work anymore.
You know, there's people that are working long after we get off work in an hour.
Well, they probably came to work a lot later than we did.
I doubt that.
I'm telling you, it's probably the truth.
What time did you get here? About 12:30?
I did about 12:30, but you know, I started working about 9:30 this morning.
People think we only work 4 hours a day. And
that's what they think.
Yes.
Yeah. Started working about 9:30 this morning. Came home from the gym. Went over to the old computer, started looking around to see what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Found a bunch of stories. I know you were here early, probably. Did you have a sales meeting today?
You think
so
about...
you slept in this morning.
No, I didn't sleep
Yeah. Okay, what time, Minix? 10, 11?
Did I get here?
No.
Did I wake up?
Yeah.
7-ish.
That's a bunch of BS, and you know it. Dude, you don't know what
7-ish.
You don't know what 7 looks like.
Ish. Ish.
Oh, my goodness.
Ish.
Yeah.
I slept really late yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah?
Friday we had an early flight.
We did.
So I turned off all my alarms on my phone because I have an alarm that goes off at 7:45 and one at 8:32. And we were going to be on an airplane.
8:32. Why 8:32?
Why not?
8:32.
You don't have random times on your...
No, I don't. See, I've got to get I always wake up early because Maggie gets up at 6:30 every day. She's got to get ready and be either at work by 8 or on her computer at 8.
See, for last Friday, I had an alarm at 5:56 and it's 6:37.
Does that make you feel better?
What time did you pick me up? I don't know. I just random time. So
we picked you up at 6:45.
See, and I was up.
Yeah, you were.
I was up and ready to go.
Yeah,
ready to go. But the 6:37 was just in case. See, if you'd have seen me rolling out there with a ball cap, you'd have known I just woke up. But the 5:56
it was good.
alarm.
You actually had a shower and cleaned up,
rocking and ready to go.
Well, it was going to be a long day.
Just random. But then I was, on the plane, my the one alarm went off. I turned them all off, and I forgot to turn them on Monday.
Well, I don't blame you for that because I slept a little late on Monday, too, just because it was a week. I had to take my son-in-law to the airport early. So I went home and went back to bed.
Yeah. Sunday was we had a really good weekend. Sunday, I went to the Brahmas game and did not have a beer. Now, I love going to football. I'll go watch any football. You got football on, I'm going.
Sure.
And met a great listener of ours, G. Murph. He's like, "Can I buy you a beer?" And I'm like, "No, dude, it's a water. It's a water day." I did not want a beer.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, if I'm at a ball game, I got to have a beer. It's like water anyway.
I did not want a beer, and I didn't have a beer.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
I had. Well, it was an 11 a.m. kickoff, but no, I didn't.
Were they selling beer?
Yes, they were.
Okay, then. What difference does it make what time it was?
It doesn't. It's just I kept thinking I'll get one at halftime or I'll get one, and nope.
Never did, huh?
Never
did.
Well,
good for you.
Never did.
I had a few drinks on Sunday.
I'm sure you did.
I did. If it's the weekend, I can't let a day go by. I don't care how I feel. You got to have a few drinks.
Well, and I think we were probably beer for beer, although then you go vodka.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why you go, but although those shots that we were doing there at Texas Live. But I think I had enough beers on Friday. I had a weekly quota, if you will.
You were a little slow on Saturday, too, I'll be honest with you.
I think we both were. Until that first one. And that first one.
You just got to get the first one down.
Yeah.
Then you're good to go.
Well, in the first one I had, because, in the suite, they hadn't brought the beer that we ordered yet, so there was a car box sitting there, so I had that.
Yeah.
And then we only had to order beer twice, and if you know what it's like ordering beer in the suite, you don't just get one.
No, it's got to be a 12-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that twice.
Twice, yes.
So, yeah.
I think did we leave some there? We didn't, did we?
No.
Oh, that's right.
No, we stayed after and finished. We finished all of that beer.
We couldn't leave it there.
No. And we still had 3 hours before the flight, so.
Yeah. So that was good, too.
Those were paid for.
Get back to the airport, little nightcap.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, is going to join us here in a couple of minutes. And, she's pretty consistent on Micah Parsons not expecting a contract until training camp at the earliest. Although he did show up today for OTAs, seemingly unexpected. Picture day, so he was there for that, is what we're hearing. But Brian Schottenheimer talking this morning, hours before Micah Parsons surprised everybody by walking into the building, was asked if there were any assurances that next week for the mandatory stuff, Micah would be there.
I would assume. Mike and I talked a couple of days ago. Again, he's doing a little bit of traveling. But again, everything that he and I have talked about, I expect that he will be here. And like I said, I say it each and every week. Mike and I have had great communication. Everything I've asked him to do and vice versa, he's followed through on. So I would expect to see him.
Well, being there and doing work are two different things. And I think Micah will be there because he's a team player. Doesn't want to get fined, although the team doesn't have to fine you for mini camps. But I'm not sure he's going to do anything.
Well, and again, Schottenheimer, in a very politically correct way today, said there's a lot of ways he can be a leader, whether he's present or not.
Yeah, I mean, again, being present doesn't necessarily mean being here all the time. Doesn't
Really?
mean necessarily having to practice. It means being present, being around the guys. I mean, we all don't see the things that some of these guys do away from here. There's a lot of work being done away from here, whether it's with other players in the NFL, our guys, things like that. And, again, you know, the thing that I know about Micah is Micah wants to be here. He's excited about what we're building. He's been a big proponent of that, and you can lead a lot of different ways, and this is a business, and they're working through the business part of this deal. But again, everything I've asked him to do, everything that I've required, no different than everybody that's here, he's been great with, and so that gets me excited, and I'm a big fan of Micah.
We all are big fans of Micah. But that, I tell you what, Schotty's oiling up for a good run in politics when he's done with coaching. That dude's about as politically correct as anybody I've ever heard.
Oiling up?
Well, that's all that came to mind.
You gotta say no diddy when you say that.
You gotta say what?
No diddy.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying, the guy's preparing.
You're always thinking of Burt Reynolds in that movie with Demi Moore when he was the senator.
Striptease.
Yes, striptease.
Wow.
Feel it in between my toes.
Stop, Pledge. Don't bring up toes to Joe.
Joe's toes, yummy. Well, I mean, facts.
Only you would know.
Facts.
Only you would know.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Put them in my mouth.
You bite your toenails?
Have you ever? No. Have you ever tried to put your foot in your mouth? Now, I've done it metaphorically,
yeah, I was
right?
going to say.
But never physically, no.
Not near limber enough.
No.
To even try.
I could have sworn he tried that day. He took the picture with the way he was trying to contort his foot.
No, he was
I was
trying
flipping you off with my toes.
Yeah, he thought his middle toe was flipping you off.
Well, it was.
It wasn't.
It was.
It wasn't. There's photographic evidence that it was not.
I'm telling you, that finger was just straight in the air just like that.
It wasn't a finger, sir.
Well, it was a toe finger.
There you go. And it was not straight in the air.
It was.
And the others weren't curled properly.
Toes. I could do it again. If
please
you like.
don't.
I mean,
no.
I'm just saying. If,
no, save that kind of stuff for Friday.
By popular demand.
That seems like a Friday fetish on the Blitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking off Friday. I won't be here. You do what you want.
All right. Absolutely. We'll have a good time, Pledge.
Please don't.
Oh, my goodness. Boy.
Go find that lady that was bothering Shelton at lunch and see if she can help you out with your feet on Friday.
Huh. If I buy her a burger, who knows what she'll do. So I'm saying Shelton might have missed out today.
He might have.
He might have missed out. You know, tell him what that burger would have bought him. I'm just saying.
You got to give him that huck, too, and spit on that thing.
It's Austin Highway. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You get one of those 30-minute hotels, and you're good to go.
They have those?
I don't know, dude. They rent them by the hour over there. Which seems a little excessive, an hour. I mean,
you paid for the hour, but what are you doing with the other 55 minutes?
That's what I'm saying. What do you do then? You want to run the hell out of there. Jeez. Stick around, honey. You watch TV a little while.
Talking about that hotel over there by Thousand Oaks Cafe, aren't you?
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Dude, there's no telling what's on those beds.
That makes sense now. Worked here a long time, and the light bulb just went off.
Yeah, oh, my gosh. That's unbelievable.
Wow.
All right, we got to clean up ourselves because we have mother football coming on.
That's a poor choice of words.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had,
How
one of them's
dare
dead.
you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You want to bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Big cash giveaway, yeah. $250,000, yes. The next 10 months, GimmeTheVin.com is giving back. Everyone that sells us their car gets put in the drawing, and monthly we're pulling out $25,000 and giving it to you. So, not only are we the top of the market buyer, but you got a chance to win $25,000. That's what we mean by big cash giveaway. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's best car buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
An accident can leave you struggling to pay for medical bills. At Thomas J. Henry, we believe you deserve justice no matter your financial situation. That's why you don't pay us unless we win your case. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway. Oh, no, he's got a clipboard. What do we do? Get down. Down? On the floor, you... Shoot, did he see us? Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
South Texas summer is no joke. With temperatures in the triple digits, your roof takes a beating. Call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. They're local, family-owned, and ready to help. Get a free, no-obligation roof inspection from a team that knows South Texas weather. Whether it's commercial or residential, a small repair, or a whole new roof, get peace of mind with Stevens Roofing. Call 210-785-0994 today. Stevens Roofing has you covered.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say...
Well, he surprised everybody today. Micah Parsons shows up at OTAs to get his picture taken with his team. But everybody excited to see him.
Picture day.
Picture day.
Picture day.
Why not?
Still apparently no closer to getting a deal done. Let's talk about it here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe, I'm Jason, and Mother Football, Charean Williams, joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I want to start with Brian Schottenheimer, who is as politically correct in some of his answers regarding Micah Parsons as you could get, but he wins every one of those. I thought it was interesting because I guess he did not know Micah would show up today when he talked earlier about how you can be a leader and not be present.
Yeah, he's been in Spain, and he arrived back at the airport and went over to the team facility to take pictures. So tomorrow will be interesting to see if he actually shows up for the OTA or not. He's been kind of in and out of there. I would expect him to be at the mini camp next week, but Stephen Jones said he didn't know. Schottenheimer said he expected him to be there, so we'll see if he shows up next week or not. I mean, he gets fined if he doesn't, so I'll be real surprised if he doesn't show up for that. But like you said, they're not making any progress, presumably, on the contract, and Stephen was testy about that today, and I don't think that Michael will show up for training camp absent a deal. So it's going to be like CeeDee Lamb, who signed 12 days before the start of the season last year, and he didn't show up till he signed the contract. So they need to get Micah signed, obviously, before training camp. I think that's the real deadline.
Well, Charean, that brings up an interesting question. I've seen a lot of tweets about Stephen Jones today not being happy about all the questions about Micah Parsons. What does that tell you? Does that tell you that maybe the Jones family is frustrated that Micah's not moving their way, or does it tell you anything?
Mike, well, it could be frustration over the fact that the deal's not done. My guess is it's frustration over the questions because he knows they're in the same situation they were in with Dak Prescott and with CeeDee Lamb, and that they always find themselves in getting these deals done late. And guess what, by the way? If they wait too long, T.J. Watt's going to get a new deal here. And if T.J. Watt gets a deal before Micah Parsons does, that price is going up even more. If they had signed this a year ago, it would be under $40 million annually. And if they wait, it could be up to $45 million annually. So they need to get this done. They needed to get it done last year. They didn't. They need to get it done now. Not tomorrow, not 6 weeks from now, not before training camp starts, not 12 days before the season starts. They need to get this done right now so the price doesn't go up again.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. Now, Charean, as you say that, and I agree, I mean, get it done. What are we waiting for? As Jerry likes to point out a lot, especially when talking about Dak, it takes two. Do you think there is some of this could be on David Mulligetta and Micah Parsons waiting? Let TJ get his deal. That way Micah can be the highest paid for well over a year as opposed to being the highest paid for 15 minutes until TJ gets his deal done. I mean, how much do you think this is on Mulligetta and Micah Parsons?
I don't think it was, but now with the recent TJ Watt news, they could just be saying we're fine waiting. Again, I wonder if Jerry is holding on to the cash so he doesn't have to put the guaranteed money in escrow. Think about, the hundreds of millions, not millions, the hundreds of millions that Jerry has had to put cash in escrow over the last 2 years. With the CeeDee Lamb deal, all the guaranteed money has to go in escrow. All the Dak Prescott guaranteed money has to go in escrow. Now you're talking about probably another $90 to $100 million has to go in escrow. I think to me, that's what the holdup is. I have no facts on that. I just think that's what it is. That's me thinking the reason these deals get done late like they get done is because it's a lot of money to put in escrow. It's a lot of money. And they put a whole lot of money last August and September into escrow in those two deals. I think that was the holdup. But now if you're Dak Prescott with TJ Watt news, I'm just like, I'll sit out training camp. I'll just wait, and we'll do the deal after TJ Watt does his deal, and we'll get, if he signs for $41 million, we'll get $41.5 million. So we'll just, at this point, just wait it out. So I don't think that was the holdup until now, but now I think if you're Micah, you might as well just wait. There's no just go sit out training camp and, get ready on your own. It's not ideal. It's certainly not ideal for the Cowboys, not ideal for Micah Parsons, but, the Cowboys dragged their feet this long that if you're Micah, you might be saying, all right, I'm not in a hurry anymore. Do what you need to do.
Yeah,
take as long as you want.
Yeah, and why would he be? Honestly, he's in a pretty good position, and I still think Jerry has a little leverage here. Although I don't think he'll use it, but he threatens to do that all the time because he is in the last year of his rookie deal, and he can franchise tag him a couple of times. That might be a PR disaster, though, don't you think?
Well, I just don't think he's not going to show up to training camp, so. I think he's just going to sit out and wait, like CD did, and it puts pressure on them to get the job done, get the deal done at that point, because he's not there. He's not with his teammates, and the clock's ticking. That's a real deadline of, all right, we got to get him in here. We got to get him in here. We got to get this thing done. So it will get done before the start of the season, but sooner is better than later because, again, price going to go up, number one, and number two, you want him ready for the season. You don't want him to come in 12 days before the start of the season.
It is interesting, and then, Charean, as you think about Micah, next week you expect him to be there but not do anything, right. which makes sense. For training camp, do you think he would actually show up in Oxnard and not do anything, the hold in versus the hold out, or just stay away from California altogether?
I don't think so because they can waive, because he's on a rookie contract, they can actually waive those. It'd be like CD. They can waive those fines where, like, TJ Watt will have to show up to training camp, just like he did in 2021 because he's not on his rookie deal. Now, he won't do anything at training camp until he gets his new deal, but he'll be there. He won't do any team drills or any on-field work, but he'll be there. Micah could possibly do the same thing and just do his workouts there at camp. I wouldn't be totally surprised by that, but there will be I can almost guarantee there will be no on-field work. And he shouldn't, frankly, and Cowboys fans shouldn't be mad at that. If he gets a career-ending injury before he signs his new deal,
yep.
The chances are not great that would happen, but you don't want to risk that before you get your second contract. You just don't. So it's in his best interest not to do any on-field work. And whether that means showing up and doing a hold in or actually holding out, either way, it's that'll just kind of be up to him. And it's not going to surprise me based on he's been around some in the voluntary work this offseason, and Schottenheimer's talked to him about being a team leader. If he does go out to California and just does the work on his own and the lifting with the strength and conditioning coaches and things like that, and attends the meetings, but doesn't do the on-field work. But again, they need to get him signed and get him on the on-field work.
Charean Williams with ProFootballTalk.com, and Charean, Jason and I have been kind of tongue-in-cheek, I guess, that Brian Schottenheimer won the month of May. And that winning streak started to come into June now. And I say that because today what I thought was impressive, he had some of the older players there that came in to I show up and show support and all of that. But he said it wasn't just because they were good football players. He wanted to show the guys what they've done after football because football will end at some point in time. And to me, I thought that was a great move.
Yeah, he's done a lot of great things since he's been head coach. He was ready. He's an older guy. He's been around the league a long time. He's been in a lot of different organizations. He's seen how things are done. He's seen the good. He's seen the bad. He's got a lot of good ideas. He saw it before with his dad and all those years that his dad coached. So he's been around it his whole life. So his ideas are good. It's still going to come down to the Jimmys and Joes. It's not about culture. It is about leadership, not about culture, but it's really about the Jimmys and Joes. Do you have the right players, the best players to win games on the field? But he has done a lot of great things. He's won over the team. He's won over the fans. The honeymoon period will end as soon as that first loss comes, which probably won't be too deep into the season. At that point, then you got to prove that you can actually coach, and you can actually win, and you can actually win in the postseason. And that's what it's going to boil down to. Oh, this is great, but you got to win on the field.
Absolutely. Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. And again, there was an excitement when he was hired. I think that's changed for a lot of people, but I still find it fascinating that when you read all these different articles, pick your website, pick wherever you're going in, outlook for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think right now a win total on BetMGM is at 7.5. Most teams, you have a bunch of injuries, they'll overlook that. The Cowboys aren't getting that benefit of the doubt. And I don't know if it's because of Dak's injury last year, although you look at what he was the year before that, new head coach, combination of all of it. But why do you think the Cowboys aren't getting the benefit of the doubt that last year was just a weird year with a whole bunch of injuries, and they'll be more like the 3 straight 12-win teams that we saw leading into last year's disaster?
Schedule is brutal. And they're the 3rd team in the division going into the season. That's the 2 reasons. Now, having said that, I would bet the over. I don't think they're going to win 12 games, but I think they can get the over. They can win 8 or 9 games, possibly 10 games. Maybe if everything goes completely right, they win 11. I don't think there's any possible way they get to 12. That schedule is brutal, especially that 6-game stretch in there. What is it, weeks 12 to 6, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It is just absolutely brutal. But the entire schedule with the divisions they play is really hard. The division with the 2 teams above them, they've been leapfrogged. So you don't have to pass one team now. You got to pass 2 teams. And those 2 teams, by the way, played in the NFC Championship game last season. That's why. I mean, that's the bottom line. The facts are that not many divisions, we saw it last year. I realized we did see it last year in a couple divisions. But not a whole ton of times the 3 teams out of one division go to the postseason. And that's probably what will have to happen. You don't know how things are going to work out. You don't know how the Eagles are going to be coming off their Super Bowl. You don't know how, teams are different every year. So, based on last year, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate over to this year. I get all that. Every team is different, get all that. But just the fact that those 2 teams are young and what they did last year and getting the NFC Championship game, the Cowboys have a tough road to hoe. There's no question about that.
Well, and don't laugh at me, Charean, but I think the Giants might be a little bit better, too. So I think that whole division is going to be a little bit better.
Jackson Dart will end up being their quarterback, I think, at some point. And I think when they get Jackson Dart in there, we're gonna see, and maybe they're a little bit better with the a young quarterback and getting ready for the future. So it's possible they could be better, they could be competitive. They're not as good as the other 3 teams in the division. I would expect all those teams to sweep the Giants, but it's possible they are a better team this year.
Poor Russell Wilson.
Possible. She's being nice to you,
she
Joe.
is. Thank you for not laughing at me, Charean.
Hey, Charean, real quick on the Houston Texans front, C.J. Stroud not throwing. D'Amico Ryan said shoulder soreness, and he's not concerned, but he started his press conference with that to try to not get any questions later about it. It's June. Shoulder soreness, is that concerning? Should it be concerning for Texan fans?
100%. Anytime it's a shoulder injury, I think there's concern. And, maybe it's just rest that he needs. Let's hope for C.J. Stroud's case that's all it is. But, yeah, I think anytime you have a shoulder injury, I think there's concern no matter what month it is.
Well, I just don't know how it happened. That's what we're trying to figure out. How in the world did his shoulder get sore? That's the interesting part of it.
Well, and that's the problem is, you're sitting here wondering, why at this point in the off season does he have shoulder soreness? I mean, is it just throwing that much in the off season? I wouldn't expect that, which, then begs the question of what exactly is it? Why is the shoulder sore?
Interesting, that's for sure. Yeah.
Davis Mills to the rescue.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you never know. To me, that's alarming. So I'm glad you went there. Charean Williams, still no word on Aaron Rodgers. He's only got, about 8 days until Pittsburgh wraps up their offseason. Do you think he's going to sign anywhere or go to retirement?
I think he signs with the Steelers, but I don't know what the holdup is. And at this point, if I'm the Steelers, I may just say, look, we're going with what we got, move on. And I don't think there's another team. Now, somebody may have an injury, and that maybe that's his best route. If a team maybe doesn't want to go to the Steelers, and his best route might be just sitting out and waiting and seeing if there's an injury and he can go to a team at some point and help them potentially win a Super Bowl, especially if it's late in the season like Flacco did getting the Browns. They didn't go Super Bowl, I realize, but he got the Browns to the playoffs and they got to Houston in the postseason. So there could be a scenario like that. But I think if he plays this year, I do think it will be the Steelers, and I think he'll sign before training camp, but I would have expected him to have already signed, to be honest.
Follow her on Twitter at NFL Charean. Read her at ProFootballTalk.com. Charean Williams, always appreciate you jumping on with us.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Charean Williams and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com.
We got some news about the Indiana Pacers. They can't make it to Oklahoma City.
What?
I don't know what's going on, but we'll tell you about it. We'll figure it out and tell you about it. We continue here on the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test. But visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
You know, it's something you don't think about in pro sports, right? Getting to the airport and being able to land in your destination. The Indiana Pacers trying to get to Oklahoma City today. They want to have a day before the games get going on Thursday, but they had to land in Tulsa today, Jason, because there is a tornado warning in effect in Oklahoma City.
Now, isn't there always in Oklahoma City? I mean, so. Now, granted, I don't know what the storms are, nor do I want to sound like I'm making light of it, but the storms must be pretty bad. What surprises me is that they're on private planes, right?
Yeah.
So you know what it's like at a regular airport, the stuff that we all have to deal with. Think about what we dealt with on Friday morning because of the weather.
Yes.
On our trip to Arlington. Thank God we weren't driving in that. That would have been awful.
No, it'd been terrible.
But it's a private plane. They couldn't have said, you know what, the forecast says we can't land when we want to, so let's just hang out in Indy. The fact that they were in the air, and if this is an accurate flight tracker thing that I'm looking at on Twitter, and I have no reason to doubt it, but they circled around, and all right, let's do this, or it's just like all over the place. Like, all right, well, let's go down and get some gas in Tulsa. I mean, they will get there.
And just to wait it out. And, well, fortunately for them, they're coming in a day early. I mean, most teams go to the city, the day before.
Well, but for the finals, remember, they'll have big media day tomorrow and all that other stuff. So they're required to get there early. So I find it interesting, though, that the plane took off from Indy knowing what the forecast was in Oklahoma City.
Now, it's only 107 miles from Tulsa to Oklahoma City. So, I mean, if they had to, they could rent one of them charter buses and hop on.
There are still tornado warnings.
Yeah, but it won't affect the bus.
Really? Did you not see the movie Twister?
I did. It was a great movie, wasn't it? You know the best part of that movie, Jason, was when they went to Aunt What's-Her-Name's house and she's making steak and eggs.
What's her name?
Damn, that looked good.
Steak and eggs.
Do you remember that scene?
No.
Oh, my gosh. How do you forget that scene? The best-looking steak and eggs I've ever seen. I wanted one. I can't believe you don't remember that scene. Goodness gracious.
Somebody send me a YouTube clip. Remind me of that scene. Do you know how long ago that movie was?
Yeah, but it's on all the time.
Do you watch it?
Well, sometimes if it's just on and you see, parts of it.
I don't.
It's on those, like TNT or TBS and some of those others. Every now and then, you watch it.
I don't.
Well,
I haven't. But I don't now I'm trying to figure out if she was really making steak and eggs or if you're using that as code words that I'm supposed to just know.
No, she was making steak and eggs. I guarantee everybody listening now knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it looked delicious.
Generally, you get excited about a couple of eggs, but you're not really talking about yolk.
No, I don't get excited about any kind of eggs.
So it was the steak that got you excited.
It was a huge steak in a big skillet, and she just cracks the eggs on top of the steak. And it looked awesome.
Now I want breakfast for dinner.
Dude, I'm telling you.
That sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it, though?
Although I had a great steak the other night.
I did, too.
And there's none left. So it would just be bacon and eggs for dinner.
You know what I had last night was a leftover potato from Tri-County Meat Market.
Did you really? That's what you had, a baked potato for dinner?
Well, and the rest of the steak, yeah.
How was that baked potato from Tri-County Meat Market?
It was delicious. Yeah, it was fantastic. In fact, they were so good we bought them out on Sunday.
I know you bought them out. Apparently, I walked in just a couple minutes after you, and they were like, hey, Ryan Eagle was just here. And I'm like, you guys are thinking the same. He got steaks, too. And then I was like, dude, where's your twice baked potatoes? Ryan Eagle bought them all. And I texted Joe, and he said, blame Maggie.
Yeah, well, it was Maggie that got them.
And you didn't eat them all if you had leftovers.
Well, we ate 5 of them. And then I had one left.
You had 5 of them.
5 of them. They were a big hit.
Neighbor Hal wants to know, do you know they remade Twister last summer?
I haven't seen that one, the new one.
It's got Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick in it.
Is it any good?
Do they have a steak and eggs scene?
Yeah, do they?
I don't think there's a steak and eggs scene.
Well, see, then why watch it then? I mean, if there's no steak and egg scene, I'm not in.
You're not in.
I'm telling you, man.
Dr. Christian Balldin joining us now for our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Balldin on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Do you remember, Doc, the steak and eggs scene in the movie Twister?
I can't say I remember the steak and egg scene, no.
Neither do I. But
I have seen it, though.
Ryan Eagle swears by this steak and eggs scene. We're talking about it because if you're just
delicious.
getting by, steak and eggs are delicious, but the Indiana Pacers didn't make it to Oklahoma City today. They got diverted to Tulsa because of a tornado warning.
Yeah, that's not unexpected.
That's
with Oklahoma weather.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, did they not know there was a tornado warning when they left Indianapolis? Right? Why put that bird in the air if you know you can't land it?
Well, that's true. Sometimes that weather springs up pretty quick, though.
All right.
It does.
A medical and meteorology update from Dr. Balldin. It's June, right? C.J. Stroud did not throw and will not throw during this portion of the OTAs. D'Amico Ryan says while he's not concerned, C.J. is dealing with some shoulder soreness. Now, you're talking about a young quarterback in June dealing with some shoulder soreness that's keeping him out of practice. While D'Amico says he's not concerned publicly, privately, how terrified is this guy of a shoulder injury?
Well, I'm sure they're being very conservative with him. I wouldn't doubt that they have already had an MRI performed on his shoulder to make sure there's nothing going on from a structural standpoint. You know, maybe they saw some inflammation on that MRI and they're shutting him down a little bit and just gonna, to play it pretty easy with him. But it's certainly nothing that you want to see in one of your young studs.
Well, Doc, I'm just curious. Could it be from throwing too much? And because he's not, there's no contact in OTAs, or working out, or maybe all of the above.
It's probably a little bit of all the above. Certainly sounds like he's been hitting the gym pretty hard probably, and that along with, the different throws and the different, training regimen that they have him on. He's come up with some pain in the shoulder, and hopefully it's nothing serious, and he's going to be able to go come late July.
I like our shoulder soreness. We can all figure that out. And one of the great things when we do these injury updates is learning new terms, because it seems like in the medical profession, new ones get invented every day. Zach DeZenzo with the Astros is dealing with a capsule sprain in his left hand. What does that mean?
Well, capsule is really like the lining of a joint. So you have capsule lining in almost every joint in your body. And so, it seems like he has irritated his wrist joint of some kind. It's hard for me to say exactly where in his hand or wrist he's hurt, but they're clearly going to get an MRI and get a little bit more information before they specifically diagnose him with a specific diagnosis.
Well, that just sounds. I mean, I don't know how you guys learn all of these terms,
You
Doc.
sprain your capsule.
Your capsule.
I didn't know I had one,
Well,
Doc.
Well, you got a lot of them, but I will say that's a pretty vague injury for them to come out and say that he has. So, more to come, I'm sure.
Well, when you look, obviously OTAs are going on all over the place. The Cowboys had a couple of guys with some severe injuries last year. One of them was Sam Williams, and one of the reporters up in Frisco, Doc, said that Williams looks close to return after tearing his ACL and MCL back in July of last year, but he was going through a series of change of direction drills while attached to those cords. Is that a good thing if you're changing directions after those injuries?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's when you put your knee at risk, and especially the ACL and other ligaments in the knee. But the ACL is really, really vital to be able to make those quick change of directions. And if he's already back doing that, and they're training him pretty hard on being able to change from one side to the other and using both knees, that's a good sign, and hopefully he'll be ready to go pretty quickly.
When you hear guys talking about a head of schedule, like DeMarvion Overshown, and we know his injury was brutal, ACL, MCL, and PCL, and he says he is ahead of where he thought he was going to be at this point, but then says the Thanksgiving Day game against Kansas City is kind of his target for return. He is doing some running out there, but not the lateral stuff. I mean, it's June, and it feels like Thanksgiving is so far away. Can you really say you're ahead of schedule at this point? How do you, or what other time stamps or progress markers that they would be looking for?
Well, the fact that he's back running already with a 3-ligament injury to his knee is very encouraging. It takes at least almost a year to recover from something like that. It takes almost a year to recover from a basic ACL injury, and so considering he had 2 additional ligaments that were injured, and he's recovering and doing stuff in a straight line already, that's great news for the Cowboys. And hopefully he'll continue to progress and get stronger. And you can hear in the rehab difference between him and the other athlete we just talked about. He's not doing any side-to-side stuff. He's doing everything in a straight line, and it's not until you have enough healing and strength in the leg that you can start doing the side-to-side stuff. And obviously in football, the change of direction happens, in a split second, so you have to be ready for that.
All right, Doc, I got to ask you about a running back for the Texans. Joe Mixon didn't participate in voluntary OTAs last week, and it was seen in a walking boot. Now, they're saying it's nothing serious. He's going to be ready for training camp, but he did play through an ankle injury in the playoffs last year. Is that something that could be an ongoing thing that just crops up every now and then?
It certainly could be. Again, it's kind of vague. They haven't come out and said exactly what's going on there besides he's having some issues. So putting him in a boot is, pretty standard of care for something when it's sore in regards to lower extremity injuries such as the ankle. So, hopefully it's just soreness and it's nothing structural that's going to require anything. But it is a bit concerning considering he was dealing with it last year.
Dr. Christian Balldin, always appreciate the knowledge and the insight.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it. Dr. Christian Balldin with our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Balldin and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
Good news, I think, both for Sam Williams and DeMarvion Overshown, the fact that they're out there. And I hope they're recovering. They're 100%. But with both of those guys, quite honestly, you fear something else.
Well, one of the things that DeMarvion Overshown said, because he's doing some light jogging, not sprinting yet, and he's ahead of pace. But he wants to be out there when he's 100%, when he can get out there on the field and not think about his knee. And the mental hurdle, I don't know how you get over that until you go do it. And until you go do it, you have no idea. You can practice all you want. You can work out in rehab, and, we'll see them off to the sides with ropes and running through all these. Until you're out there and you get hit, you have no idea.
Well, that's true. And and we've heard this before from the docs, that mental side of it is just as important as the physical side, because you think you're feeling okay and you're doing things, but boy, you need to get hit a time or two, and just to make sure that everything's okay. So the mental part of that is just as important as getting healthy physical and getting your mind right.
Now, over on our YouTube page, and you can go there, go to YouTube, San Antonio Sports Star, we've got a poll up that we asked early in the show, who has the best burger and fry combination. And right now, we've got Whataburger, Freddy's, Sonic, and Other. Whataburger is sitting right at 50%. Other is at 38%. Freddy's, 11%. Sonic is at 2%. Now, you still have a couple of minutes to go vote, but right now, Whataburger would win and not need a runoff. Now, that's changed in the last couple of minutes.
It has.
Because they were sitting at like 48, 49%. So Whataburger getting some late votes because they want to avoid the runoff. I'm really surprised, though, that Sonic did not do better in this.
I'm kind of surprised, too, but maybe people don't go to Sonic for burgers. They go for other things. I mean, their chili dogs are fantastic at Sonic.
Yeah, you know what? Because when you go to Sonic, you get the tots. You're not getting the fries.
Well, okay, tots. That's
and again, you know, Pledge went Freddy's. They got a different kind of fry over there. Sonic, kind of more for the tots. But Whataburger, they're hanging in.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in.
They are the defending champion, and looks like they're going to defend their championship today. So I'm proud of you, Whataburger.
Now, in the spirit of the runoff, today is the last day of early voting. Polls close at 7.
7 o'clock.
So you got plenty of time.
Yeah, you do. You can wait till after the show, though.
Well, the show's almost over.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, nobody's going to go vote in the next 30 seconds, although that's about how long it took me today. There was no line.
Really?
And I could pick and the lady was like, well, pick the machine you want. And I said, it's almost like a slot machine in Vegas.
Yeah, which one?
Which one is the good box?
Yeah, which one pays?
Yes. She said, if you get money out of that, we got problems.
Yeah, that's no kidding. We're going to have an investigation. That's for sure. Hey, big show coming up tomorrow. Lisa Campos is going to join us at 5:15. We'll talk a lot with Lisa, obviously, about NIL stuff when it comes to athletics and new facilities for the UTSA baseball program.
A lot of discussion about that based on what Pat Hallmark told us yesterday as his Roadrunners get ready for the Super Regionals this weekend against UCLA in L.A. Lisa Campos, again, tomorrow at 5:15. Plus, we should have a plan on Project Marvel.
That's right. That's coming up tomorrow, too. So we'll get all the details and give those to you. Appreciate you joining us here on the Blitz this afternoon, as we always do. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and